So it's 9 o'clock. We will welcome everybody to the Wednesday, July 30th, 2025 Otherwise Board of Commissioners meeting. And it's 9 a.m. and we'll call the meeting to order and start with the approval of the agenda. I'll make a motion to discuss and approve the agenda.
Second.
Discussion. We will have a non-public at the end of this meeting.
Yes.
What are we citing? Protection?
Yes. And is there a negotiation too, or is there employee discussion on that?
Yeah, there's an employee discussion as well.
Okay. Anything else, any other modifications to the agenda? All in favor?
Aye.
3-0. And we'll move to the approval of the minutes of July 22nd. I'll make a motion to discuss and approve those minutes.
Second.
Discussion?
I didn't have anything.
I didn't either.
I didn't either.
What?
Ed, way to go.
All in
It's a
favor of
fluke.
approving those minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0 on that. And at 9:01, we'll move to an operations manifest of $2,682.50. I'll make a motion to discuss and approve that manifest.
Second.
It's a small one.
Yeah, everything looks straight ahead, straightforward.
It does have a second invoice from
The Belmore.
Belmore. So, it doesn't look like there's any indication that he made an adjustment to that invoice
Nope.
based on the first one, which I believe is a full charge, even though the machine stopped at 120. So it's a matter of whether we think we should ask him to make an adjustment on the second invoice, because we did send the check for the first one in
We
full.
did. Last week.
For 206,250?
So this invoice, I don't know if you've seen it.
I did.
It's for 9 hours, which must include,
All I saw was the price, I didn't see the
It's
breakdown.
9.25
I tried to bring that
hours.
up.
Yeah, he gave out hours on each invoice.
Okay,
So
I
yeah, the
didn't
last
see
one was
the full
9.25?
Which he was, so that's probably counting drive time.
yes,
Yeah, so, he was there 10 after 7 until 3 o'clock. He pulled out a building
See, that was a full
5
day.
minutes of 3.
that was a full day we got.
Yeah,
So it's a matter of, at $250 an hour, I think it's our job to make sure we got every hour we're paying for.
right.
So that's just the issue. I think it's a 1 hour issue, stopping at 120 instead of 3
Oh, for the first time,
for
yeah.
the first time.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm after.
Yeah, I
Are we
agree.
in agreement with that?
Yep.
So I'd say we approve this manifest and hold this check. We may be issuing another one, but I wanna talk to him and see if he's gonna adjust based on the first one.
Right.
On another separate issue on that, I don't know if you noticed on the invoice, at the bottom it says, we also reline pipe, which I found was interesting. And to me,
Like lining.
Yeah,
that,
Yeah.
that, I wanna ask him if that means that they reline culverts.
that's what I believe.
So I'd like to find out what his technique is for that.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Because I read about it years ago when we were first looking at the Grissom problem. And one of the things is the diameter of the inside gets smaller
Right.
when you line it.
Oh, yeah.
But if it's an old corrugated one, I wonder how they do it. If it turns out to be smooth bore when they're done,
Right.
that could be a mitigating factor. Anyway, so I have 2 reasons to talk to him. Let me leave it
Yeah.
at that. And so all in favor of approving the manifest and holding that check? Say aye.
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 3-0 on approving that manifest and holding the Belmore check until I call him.
Okay.
There's a second manifest for the water system.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll make a motion, we discuss and approve this manifest for $1,039.44.
Second.
Discussion.
Again, it was pretty straightforward.
These are just parts we purchased as part of the
It's more
ongoing project
inventory
at,
items. Yeah.
oh, these to hold in inventory, or are these for one of the improvement projects?
I don't know.
It's 2-inch pipe stuff, so I believe it's for the Bergdorf Aspen
That's what I said.
project.
Uh-huh.
It's now changed to Bergdorf Aspen because we are going up Aspen. Talk about that more in my commissioner's report, but
So
they
coating,
found the end of the 2-inch main coming down Aspen, so it was a good day yesterday.
Okay.
And I sent an email this morning because in talking to Noah, it wasn't clear that they needed to do this at the other end of where the pipe is going at the number 5 Bergdorf. And because it was number 6 Aspen, I sent an email saying, clarifying that we expect an adapter to go on the other end of the dead end at number 5 Bergdorf. Sent a picture of the house, sent a map of where the lot is,
Mm-hmm.
just to make absolutely, and saying that we think that this work is getting done this week. So both ends are done, and now we can put this thing out to bid as soon as I write the contract that now says where the pipe really is going.
okay.
So there's a little piece of my commissioner's report.
So as far as coding for the inventory items,
This should go to Bergdorf.
okay, very good.
So we need to vote on approving the manifest, if we didn't already. All in favor of the manifest?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0 on the water manifest. So at 9:06, we go to the DPW report, and the first thing that's on here is Appenville ditch work. I'd like to start with the ladder though. Can you update us on the ladder?
The ladder, I'm gonna check on that today,
Okay.
when I leave here, hopefully we'll get that back installed. We were able to, I spoke with Alan, he was gonna repair it, after it broke a second time over the weekend. The way it attached to the raft was different than we anticipated, and it came off easier. We would've brought all the pieces over to him, and he was gonna weld it all back together.
Because he can weld aluminum.
Right, correct.
Okay.
So hopefully that's ready to go.
And if
Okay.
it,
I'm hoping.
Okay.
If
But were
not-
the welds the weak part last time? Is that where it broke?
Yeah, I mean, it breaks for misuse. People climb on that ladder and jump off the ladder rather than just use it to
No,
climb
I
up
know
on the
how it
raft.
breaks. I'm just saying the weak point in the ladder is always the welds, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
or the way it fastens to the dock. to the
Yeah,
raft.
sometimes, the way it
The whole
fast.
thing can come off.
Okay.
I haven't heard that in a while though.
Right. No, I did look up some stuff and found some different types of ladders. There's like a plastic one
I
that
saw
looked
that.
pretty rugged. It's like, rated for 500 pounds. Flips up like we like, you know what I mean? So there are other options out there, to get. It's just online, that type of thing.
I didn't know if it was plastic coated or if it was plastic.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. You see a picture on that says plastic.
Because I searched for heavy duty.
Yeah.
You must have seen the same things.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of stuff that was for saltwater docks. That
Oh.
was heavy duty.
Yeah.
That was more for boats, not for swim rafts.
Right.
But maybe that's where we're heading.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are we having, the ladder
The
repaired?
ladder's being repaired right
We
now.
don't know whether Alan's done with it yet.
Right,
Okay.
I'm not sure if he's done. I checked with him Monday because I saw the post there over the weekend, and tried to put the rush to him.
Did he provide a cost estimate for this work?
He did not.
Okay. Because we approved $500 for a new ladder. I'm assuming this is going to be a little less expensive, but it's an experiment.
Right.
It's being welded. I think the welds are always the weak points.
Yeah. So he was
And-
going to double it up
Yeah.
where they were welded, and do a little bit more manufacturing to it than the initial.
Okay. Well, hopefully that'll last the rest of the season, but it's an experiment to see if repairing or going brand new heavy duty in the future is the way to go.
Right. So that's that. The ditching of Appenvale is coming to an end. We're coming to the Class 6 Thusis, and I know we have some conversations that we need to have about that on moving forward.
I can go out there after this meeting.
Okay.
If you want to join us, we're going to talk about what we can do to the Class 6 ramp that comes into Class 5 Thusis Appenfeld at that corner to protect the class 5 road that they're working on now. There's rocks that got moved by snowplows, so
There's rocks, there's material in the ditch line. I mean, the water comes, as we know, it comes straight down that road to class 6 and into our class 5 and is creating an issue in the class 5. So we could fix the class 5 like we're doing, but if we don't do anything to the water coming down off the other part of that to class 6, it's just gonna continue to do the damage that it's doing, unless we do something about it.
Well, you've always told us that we can't work on class 6 roads, but in this case, because it impacts a class 5 road that is ours, can we?
yes. We're not maintaining the road for travel. We're not turning a class 6 into a class 5. We may review the water ordinances to see if we get a request to run a main up a class 6 road, whether we can have stipulate in the water ordinance that the road is put back to the class 5 specs that we have. So we need to review that. Particularly in light of the fact that the representatives in Concord are changing laws that make it easier for somebody to get a building permit in a class 6 road. We may want to cover ourselves for the excavation that has to happen to run a main on a class 6 road as to how the road gets left afterwards by us and our contractors. So we'll review that. But I will be there,
Okay.
and you guys can decide whether you're just hearing about it now. I said to the crew yesterday that I would be there.
When's that, after the?
After this
conclusion?
meeting.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. So yeah, so we'd like to get that buttoned up, but you know, that's kind of where we're working at.
So if you intend on going, what we'll do is continue this meeting so that it's a public meeting
Yep.
that we go out to the road.
Okay.
So anybody watching, you can time it, and if you want to see us
I'm
talk
sure-
about it, introduce us.
Tony and Yuri showed you that bit of ledge rock that was giving them a problem yesterday on Appinville? They're a big moss-covered boulder. I took a picture of it.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Well, you know that. You know, you throw a timeline on a job and you think it's gonna go in that timeline, and then you run into all kinds of things. Equipment breakdown, and you know, you got to go off onto another job because something comes up in an emergency, a washout. You know, and this and that.
Weather, family, sickness, something comes up, and one of the employees can't make it.
Right, right. So you know, we've been running into all that bulbous rock sticking out, you know, out of the landscape that you know you got to take care of. Otherwise, what you're doing is still going to continue to whack the wing and those types of things. So you know, that's what we've been fighting. But if you've been out there, you can see the finished, not the finished, but you
Have
can
you seen it?
you can get an idea what the finished
You haven't
product's
seen it
going to
yet.
look like.
Oh, yeah, no, it looks great. It's just,
Right.
I just happened to catch them at the right point where they're having the problem
Sure.
with big rock. Which
Oh yeah.
Tony and Yuri, it must be ledge rock.
Yeah, and there is going to be some of that, and you know, hopefully sometime down in the future we're going to address some of those things. And
Well, this fall, if you guys want the hammer excavator
Right.
from Ossipee to work on that, we'll have to expand. We'll have to prioritize, plan that we're doing the lower elevations on non-asphalt roads first.
right.
The temperature's dropping while he's working on it,
Yeah.
and then we head him up on
Yeah,
the
that's-
asphalt
Oh,
road to the
yes.
original site that started all that up on the S-turn.
Right. So if that's gonna be something that we're gonna definitely budget for, or
We
still
have a
have we
warrant
have in the
article for
budget
it.
for it,
Yeah.
then I could start making contacts with him to get that.
I'll contact him.
Okay.
I
all
want
right.
you guys to
Get the rocks.
number the sites in the order that they're gonna go.
Yeah. Okay. Then
We're-
we'll move
we're
forward
ex-
with that. 'cause
We're
I meant
into
to
the
ask
cold
about
part of
that for a while.
October, and the road's stiffened up before we have them drive up onto the S-turn.
Right, gotcha. Okay, perfect. That's awesome. So yeah, just keep moving along with that. So again, digging rocks out and making that smoother as we
And
go.
you made contact with the owners at 20?
Yep, 20 and 22
Okay.
Affenvale. I got to call 22 back today, but
Okay.
they do seem on board with what's going to happen
Yep.
there and agreeable to that, and us taking care of that to again create this road to a finished product.
One of those driveways had an old decrepit culvert.
Yeah,
Is that gonna be dug out or what?
That's gonna get dug out, and I don't believe we need it there. We're gonna continue with the negative grade and get it right into the ditch line
Okay.
with the gravel and the way we reshape it. And same with the other one. The other one's got and I'm gonna have to talk with Simply Water on this. I mentioned it, but they've got a shut off right in the pavement there that we're gonna have to cut back behind, so we're gonna have to lower that and do something with that. They're gonna have to be brought in to kind of work with us with that one.
This is on Appinvale?
Yeah, that's 20 Appinvale.
Oh,
But all systems seem to be go with that, so that's a good thing. And we could try to schedule that in maybe next week and to get those cut back and done. So yeah, I don't know if I have anything else.
When I was out on the road, you were making a run to the deposit site.
Yeah.
The crew was talking about cutting the roots that were coming out of the ground after the V ditching had cut
Yeah.
the banks back, so. They have rocks you wanna pull out, the class 6 thusis, cutting back where roots that have like a 1-inch diameter are coming out of the ground like a branch almost, something big.
Yeah.
wow.
And they're even picking the little rocks up off the road and throwing them because they don't want any rocks when they put down the gravel.
Right.
And trucks with utility trailers with mini excavators are already going down that road really fast.
Jeez.
It's like once the surface gets put on it, it's gonna be an experiment to show that we don't want good roads. We want good ditches, we don't want good roads.
Yeah.
We want good roads for plowing. What I wanna find out is how it is to plow Appinville Way this winter, where there's a big difference in the way that
Yeah.
how hard it is did it get easier to plow, which I think it is.
Oh, I believe it's going to be. Yeah.
More room to push stuff, I think.
More places that the snow's gonna get, and the more it's off the road, the drier it's gonna get. and
Yeah.
The less mud and the whole
So that's what
ball
we
of
wanna
wax.
do to all the roads.
Yeah.
We'll have people petitioning us not to put good surfaces on them. in future.
Yeah.
Keep them thin coated.
My rule is to make the roads so that the plows can't get damaged. If that ends up being a good travel road, but otherwise I don't wanna invest in speed.
Yeah.
I wanna invest in the safety of the equipment, because when plows break, then it's a public safety issue of response vehicles getting to houses. Wait till you live through one of those.
Right.
Yeah. But no, I'm not done.
Yay.
Sound like me.
So I did take a ride up. This is kind of, I hate to say it like this, but getting this thing done here has been a big focus. But we still do the road checks on a Monday morning and stuff. And over there at that Chicoro Basil intersection, that's cleaned up. The material's all out of there and all that, but the ditch lines are still the water's not getting to where it's supposed to get in there. And I don't know if that's gonna be on us to fix at some point, or if that's back on the contractor that did, you just kinda always fall into one of these type of things over and over again, it seems like. But I don't know where that's gone.
We haven't contacted the owner of that house about that whole project and how
No.
they shouldn't have had all that material in our road.
Right, I mean, from the naked eye, everything's fine, it's cleaned up.
So the
it's
piles
all
are gone and the pipes are all gone?
Yeah, everything's all cleaned up,
But
but when
the
you
ditch
kinda
is filled.
walk over there and you look, well, water's supposed to come down in the road over here to get in the ditch, but where they kinda were there, it's not, and the water over here is supposed to come down, So things have been disturbed during that project and not put back kinda the way it was, 100% type of thing.
We need to see it before we start communicating.
Right.
So, when do I do that?
And this is on Chicora?
Yeah.
Intersection of
I've
Basil.
taken pictures, but they don't
You
do it
can't-
justice, with the
No.
vegetation and you know what I mean? It's not something you're really seeing unless you're out there looking at it.
And did we actually, I think we might have sent them one letter about having.
About their materials.
Yeah, about having the materials.
Yeah, that might have
So
been
that
before
might
the
have been
piles
what
and then
But
they
pushed
cleaned-
him to
it was
move
a
them.
while ago,
Right, that
yeah.
cleaned,
Yeah.
that got
And
it cleaned up, I
It took them a while to
believe,
get the
but,
stuff out of there.
yeah, but, so there's that,
Okay.
you know, going through some just general maintenance, you know, like we, equipment checks and all that before we get going as we're working it. The John Deere is up for a service again, you know, not 1,000 hour, but we've put 500 hours just about on it since that 1,000 hour service. So I did call them up, and I'm gonna try a little something different, because there is something going on with the way the air conditioning's going, so they need to look at that. So if I could get them up here for a warranty thing, then I wanna get them up here to do a service, because it is a cost just to get the truck up here for a service. But there is oil change needs to be done, filter, air filters, fuel filters for a 500 hour service, so we are kinda due for that. And with that being said, you know, he gave me a price. He kind of looked up the last invoice for the 1,000 hour service, which is a little bit more in depth. So hopefully it won't be quite what that was. And I tried to get a range, but he says, you know, without trying to go and talk to parts and getting all the parts you need and all that. I'm like, well, he already had me on the phone for 20 minutes. I was like, I'll get back to him on that. But yeah, you're probably looking, if I can get him to not have the drive fee in there, because if it's a warranty thing that they're gonna look at and do that at the same time, if I could kind of work that action.
Yeah.
You know, we're probably still looking at maybe $1,200 or something like that for a service, or to 2,000, I'm not sure, you know. So that's something that we gotta kind of move on.
Well, we wanna stay on top of the service of all this expensive equipment. so-
Exactly, and another thing I was thinking on that same note, you know, I've got a gallon, well, we had to put a little bit of oil into the machine today, and so I've got partial of a gallon of that oil. I've got
Engine oil.
engine oil, I've got a portion of a 5 gallon, like maybe 2 gallons left of hydraulic oil from that. I don't have any antifreeze for that, and that is stuff that we bought straight from United, John Deere. So I don't know if it's worth me taking a trip to Ossipee and getting some of these fluids to have on hand for, you know,
For them to use?
no, for us, and, you know, I mean, oh, we're doing a routine, well, we're a little low on antifreeze right now, well, I, you know, don't have any to put in it, you know, I don't have anything in-house.
Will Napa deliver to us?
Well, yeah, Napa delivers, and we could put Napa products in there, but I don't know what that does, that kind of
Oh,
tends
you're talking about going to
to
the
John Deere
United and getting
to
it?
get the
Yes.
stuff through them, because
Alright.
when they
Gotcha.
told me not to use Napa
Yeah,
yeah.
hydraulic oil.
Yeah, all the dealers do that.
And that type of stuff, and until the warranty's over, I think you
Yeah.
kinda gotta stick with that stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so that's kinda where we're at with that. So I thought at some point on a rainy day, I could run down there and pick up a few fluids,
Yeah.
to have on hand.
Any issue with that?
Nope.
No,
Okay. You
it's
know,
just the one, when you're like heading toward Harley Jack's, it's on the left hand
yes,
side.
correct.
Okay, that's-
Yeah, you know, I mean, not to throw a price out there, but I mean, maybe like, I don't know if you throw a $500 limit on me or something like that, or whatever it takes, cause I mean, the hydraulic oil, if I remember, was like almost $200 just for 5 gallons of hydraulic oil. And I should have at least another 5 gallons of that. I should have a gallon or 2 of motor oil. I should have a couple gallons of antifreeze.
So you're saying all of the liquids, you'd have an inventory of $500 worth of stuff?
I'm just something out there, maybe it won't be quite that much, you know what I mean, if I go and get
Sounds
some.
like a lot.
It does, but,
When getting to numbers like that, I'm afraid of things walking away.
you know,
It's, I don't know who goes in and out of the garage like they used to, but, so maybe it's not that much of a concern.
right.
How are we doing with the, speaking of that, inventorying with the engraver?
Yeah, we're gonna kind of move on
Here's
that a
another
little
rainy
bit.
day thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've got an inventory, a couple page list of stuff, I haven't engraved anything at this point.
Okay.
Is there a place you can lock up those hydraulic fluids and motor oil for this is all for the backhoe, right?
Not
So-
really.
Yeah, no, I mean, the shop's a lock, but I mean, there's not really a room that locks.
Anyway, so we'll
Um,
get the inventory system up to date and
Yeah,
you should get that stuff, I think. Any issue with him buying the supplies,
No.
liquid supplies? So
Do we wanna put up to 500 on it?
that seems really high. I mean,
yeah, I don't think it'll be that, but I mean, you know, it might be 3 or so, I don't know, like I said, off the top of
Is
my
this
head.
is this something you can get a more firmer price and report back to us
So you
next
want-
week, or do you need them right away?
You want 5 gallons of each of those, did you say? Or?
No, the hydraulic oil comes in a 5 gallon tub, so that's, like I said, I think the last time we bought it was $175 or $179 or something like that. I don't know what a gallon of oil costs off the top of my head, you know, but maybe that's $50 and some antifreeze maybe.
So it's $30 a gallon for hydraulic fluid?
Yeah, I mean, I if you do the math, I guess, yeah.
It was 175 last time?
I
It
get
only
off the
comes in
top-
5-gallon
179.
cans.
Well, you could buy it in 1 gallon cans, but you know,
This is
It's
over
more
30 bucks.
expensive.
right.
Okay. Well, we're relying on you. How much do you think you need?
Well, like I said,
You can only buy 5, and you're saying it's
well,
179.
no, you could buy it in a gallon, but I mean, you know, you blow a hose, you could
You
lose
need-
3
yeah.
gallons at a time. You know what I mean? You know.
Okay, so your comfort level is a 5-gallon can.
Well, it'd be nice to have, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to have 2 sitting around, you know what I mean? Like I said, you blow a hose, you know, cause you're driving down there and you know what I mean? That type, it's not
All right,
like.
so
it's
the
right around.
last time you purchased it was 179 for a 5-gallon can?
Yeah, again, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Approximately,
Okay, yeah, that's almost $36 a gallon, but, okay. But motor oil can't.
The motor, I haven't bought
Put a
motor oil
John
for
Deere
this
logo
thing.
on the can, they can jock it up just like the
Right.
hydraulic fluid.
I haven't bought a gallon of motor oil. I think the guy left it when he did the service. He had a partial left over that he left here. So I haven't physically bought a gallon of the stuff at the dealership, you know
I mean,
what I mean?
is it a special type of motor oil that's different than what we put in our vehicles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Supposedly.
it definitely is.
A Honda dealer will tell you have to buy Honda fluids.
Well, then on top of it,
A BMW dealer says you have to buy BMW fluids, oil, window
well, they
washer.
recommend, yeah.
So, I think we should go with buying the minimum to have it on hand, in the container size. So 5-gallon, you wanna buy 10 at 5 gallons at, $360.
If you want me to get one, I'll get one. It doesn't matter. I just think, you know, we have to have something on
Take a
hand.
ride down, buy a 5-gallon hydraulic, and we'll know what the price is.
And I'll buy a gallon of motor oil and a gallon of antifreeze, just to have something in here,
Okay.
on
I'll
hand.
make a
Okay.
motion he
That works.
buys 5, 1 and 1.
And I don't think that would be more than $300.
Okay,
Second,
aye.
aye.
3-0 on that, and then we'll see what the pricing is.
Right,
See.
and we could go from there for a few, like I said, if we blew a hose today, and I only have a gallon and a half or so of hydraulic oil, and that doesn't fill the sight glass, we're out of business.
Right.
You know what I mean, unless I run down there and get more,
Which we'll do.
you know, so it's just having a couple
We'll
of these
find out
things
if
on.
5 isn't enough, and then we'll know.
Right,
All right,
We're cutting the odds by getting the 5 now.
but, just those couple things, that's what I have. But I'll get on engraving some more of that, some of those things and checking that out.
How
that
did it
works.
go with the raking at the beach?
Oh, that went awesome. I thought anyway. I mean, at that level, that beach hasn't looked that nice in a long time.
did you
So-
see Mark's video? Jennifer? Did you see Mark's video?
No.
Oh, okay.
What beach was raked?
We raked Boulder Beach,
Boulder Beach.
the left side of it,
And a little bit,
a little bit on the right. the
which
right
is
side.
perfect for the kids.
The right side's tougher. There's you know not as
Roots.
much material. It's too much roots, and I think there's a lot more rock in there.
Oh,
But I think for Geneva Beach, and I understand what Dinah's saying, it's already a nice soft fluff sand, but what this did also, besides fluff the sand up over there at Boulder Beach, it leveled it out. Where you look at Idlewild Beach and Geneva Beach, and there's a lot of humps and dumps and bumps in there, and this will smooth it all out and make it a nice kind of plain level surface. I think for next year, the start of the season would be ideal, and I don't think it's gonna be very time consuming the way he runs that machine. But that was my opinion on it.
Yeah, we could budget like an hour per beach, and it probably won't even be that.
Yeah, I mean, with moving time and, you know what I mean, but he's pretty quick and pretty slick with that machine and, you know.
I would eventually like to see the village perch 3 of the beaches, put up at least a 1-foot high wall up that would retain the sand, as the state likes to see everybody do that, to keep sand from going into the pond. I have a list of reasons why you don't want sand going into the pond. And one of the things about it is, it has to be done in a way that doesn't prohibit the backhoe from going down to the water's edge to put the raft out and in. So, I almost would like to do some temporary experiments without putting in permanent concrete walls. And I thought we could do that. We could try doing that with wood, maybe even logs,
Oh,
and start to terrace like Thusis Beach to see if we can stop that ravine from running right down the middle of the beach, taking all the sand out into the water because it flows from the road all the way down the driveway. It doesn't get caught. I tried to clean that piping system out a little bit, but it floods that, must go right over that and straight
yeah.
down
Wow.
through the middle of the beach and carries the sand out. And people would like to see that part of it sandy. And we do have wood logs
Oh, we have a few lying
that
around.
we haven't figured out how to get rid of them or use them.
Yeah, we've got a couple of those
We
hanging
might
around.
donate them to Old Home Week at some point for their,
Well, this is a discussion for another time, but I'd be certainly curious how you'd construct one of these perches in so that the backhoe can still, take care of the rafts in and out when needed.
well, if you're retaining the sand, in the case of Thusis where it runs down the middle of the beach, that's not where the backhoe necessarily has to go. It can go down the left side to get to the water's edge. And I'm not talking about the perch being at the edge of the water either. I'm talking
Yeah.
about it being
yeah,
several feet back up from the edge of the water.
Right.
And I'm talking about something that may be 4 feet long, just to hold the sand from running through that ravine. We should talk about it when we're there,
Yeah.
instead of waving hands
Yeah.
around here.
yeah.
Right.
But I'm gonna keep bringing this
It's a
up
visual.
because I think the village has to get there, because people want sand on the beaches,
Yeah.
and we can't keep doing it the way it's been done for the last 40 years. The state doesn't want, from what I read, the state's not recommending we
Continue
do
to
that,
put
which is
sand
why they
in.
have this permitting process.
Right.
Enough on that for now.
Yep.
Anything else for Jeff? Thank you.
All right. We'll see you a little later.
Have a great
All right.
day.
You.
Yeah, we'll see you after this meeting's over.
Okay.
So at 9:31, we'll go to commissioners' reports. And the first thing I guess I'll cover is that we are starting to get the signs back from the manufacturer. We bought 12 of these signs because we have a new ordinance that doesn't allow parking on the roads at any time on any road. So there are 12 of these, and I think Jeff would like to put these on posts. And they require holes to be drilled because I wasn't sure how the lettering was gonna line up against holes that they pre-drill.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we took signs that are manufactured to be signs oriented like this, and we turned it around like this, so sometimes I get them with the holes drilled as if the sign's going this way, and that
Uh-huh.
does us no good. The other thing is, this allows them to drill the holes where they know it goes into their posts.
Right.
Right.
Jeff would prefer these go on posts. I like these things on trees, away from the plows, but
For the 5 entrances, there are posts.
Yes.
they now have multiple signs on them.
So, well, the one on Sarnan only has the neighborhood watch
So can you,
sign. So there are,
I have enough
so
things
we
to
could
do.
rearrange things like that.
Can you two answer questions for Jeff and the DPW on getting all these signs up? Particularly the ones that go in the parking lots. I think you guys should say
Uh-huh.
where they go. And between you and
Okay.
Jeff, you can decide where all the 12 of these things go.
Definitely.
That is a 24 by 36. Is that about the size of the sign you want for gross vehicle weight?
Yes,
That's
this is
it?
the exact same size of the sign I measured yesterday.
And I did one of them where across the bottom with those, it says, please take notice.
Yeah, I saw that.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I like that. I thought you were gonna put per VDOE road ordinance, but I like that even better. Put police in there, sort of like a red light.
In
Yeah,
red.
that was the phrase that was at the bottom of all of the signs in Boston.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yep,
I like it.
You ever see that?
yep.
Um,
So,
So this is the one that just says Pard Shore has an
It
exemption.
goes in the cul-de-sac.
correct. I know where that one goes.
Yes.
But you're looking for the
2 locations in
road,
No through trucks over 10 GVWR. It's gonna be the
At
same
that
size.
size?
This is the same size of the
Yeah.
See, that's
one I measured
huge.
yesterday.
He saw one in Conway that he liked.
Did you
So
see
Wow.
it?
he
And
went
it was
measured
I
that
did.
size?
I did, but I guess I didn't realize it was that
big.
size.
That's why I brought it in for you to see
Yeah.
how big
And
these
you,
things
and
are.
you'd need two of them, wouldn't you, at least?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you need one for either end of
Yeah.
Idlewild Drive.
Well, the reason I like this sign is because there's no way you can miss it, with especially with 4-inch letters saying no through trucks. Then it goes down to like 3.5 inches over 10 GVWR, whatever. Because we have a lot of trucks that are well over 10 tons that are transiting our roads daily. And this sign they can't miss, this size.
What is it in the rest of Madison? Like I know Conway is 13, Cranmore Shore is 13. What is it in the rest of Madison?
I think it's 13.
I'm just wondering if we're not gonna be able to really enforce a 10-ton if the through roads, like if they come from Conway,
13.
cutting across, and they're on a road that allows 13, and they get to Idlewild Drive, what are they supposed to do? They're not gonna stop and go someplace else.
Absolutely not.
So do you want to have a conversation with the chief about that? And we will hold off making the signs until we confirm what the number you and the chief think the gross vehicle weight should be? Because we
Okay.
have
Okay.
water mains under our roads, which is
That's
why
the-
we've always kept them low
Yes.
from mythology.
Yeah, I'm just thinking,
Historically.
you know, for the police to be able to enforce it, you know, for people coming from the other side, coming on 113, they have no excuse, you know, but if they're coming from the Conway side, they're gonna be already on roads that are 13 ton and then hit Idlewild Drive.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't expect them to stop, they'll go on, but now if they know, theoretically, if they're doing the right thing, they won't go that same route the next time. But
Okay.
this was a discussion, remember, this was
Right,
a discussion
yep.
we had when we were putting the new road ordinance together, was it 10 or was it 13?
Right,
I thought it was 13, but then it's, I guess historically.
well, we found the one sign that has, that had the 10, but obviously at one point had a 13,
Yeah,
had a 3 over.
and it either was removed or it
Right.
came off.
So historically, I can't confirm for you what it ever
No.
was.
So do you want to, either of you have a conversation with the chief and
Yeah,
decide what the proper number should be?
yeah.
And I won't make the signs until we come back to this meeting and vote to change.
I mean, I hear your logic with because we have water mains, but
Right.
the fact of the matter is, we've had 13 and much higher transiting our roads, and I never recall, you probably would, maybe a water break due to that.
Well, it's hard to say what
Right.
caused it. It was particularly in the springtime when the roads are
Soft, yeah.
starting to melt.
Yeah, but during mud season, you have a much lower load limit, and that's not gonna change.
No.
It's 8 tons during the
That's
spring.
8 tons,
Right.
right. And I think that's when you have the most danger for,
And the towns are dropping it for the sake of the road without water mains.
right,
Anyway, so let's leave it that you're gonna come back and say what the number's gonna be, and then we'll have the signs made. And they'll have another 40% off sale right when you come back, because they have them.
Like weekly.
Although, I had to write to them and say, they weren't letting me get these 24 by 36 signs at 40% off, even though they were advertising 40% off site-wide. But that's not, I'll deal with that. So we're all set with that then. You guys will help Jeff decide how to get these in place, and
Yep.
we'll hold off on it.
Yeah, and you have more coming in the mail.
The 2 signs for Hotwell may arrive any day.
Yeah,
This is all well before August 7th, you notice that they're, and, so I'll get all these signs into the DPW garage,
okay.
and I'll tell Jeff that he should talk to you too about where the Hotwell signs go,
Okay,
I don't know if you wanna decide where this goes on the cul-de-sac or not. I'll tell him to talk to you guys.
yeah.
Okay. Back to my commission's report. Aspen Bergdorf, Simply Water found the water main on Aspen at number 6 Aspen. And they're gonna put the fitting on today and close it all back up. And I sent an email to make sure that Ian and I weren't emailing conversation and missing the main point, that I wasn't sure he was confirming that he knew that he needed to put another adapter at the other end of where we're putting the new pipe in, which is at number 5 Bergdorf, where
Right.
you have Habitat for Humanity house,
Mhm.
where the 2-inch water main ends coming the other way. It's pretty clear where that is, because that's, they marked that out at the beginning of this.
Right,
I'm hoping that Simply Water moves from Aspen right to Bergdorf and puts that in. Now I can finally write the contract, because now I know exactly where the pipe's going.
mhm,
I'm glad I didn't do this before, because I think there's an additional 75 feet that were going up Aspen from the intersection of Aspen and Bergdorf. Nothing moves at the rate that you think it should move.
No, never.
Painting stuff. I'm thinking that people should look at the bridge that goes over the dam. That's in pretty tough shape. I'm not sure whether we should be investing in the dam, the bridge and the dam, if we're gonna be doing work someday on the dam itself. But I think the ordinance prohibits the commissioners from doing any work on the dam itself. In my mind, I'm releasing that to the people who changed the ordinance against our desires, that took us out of being able to maintain the dam. And it's on them now.
yeah, I think we should change that for next year's, warrant, just like we did this year for the other ordinance.
Okay.
Well, I have no problem with the ordinance, other than the fact that it ties the commissioner's hands to,
Drop
let's say
the
we.
water level commitments.
And
Exactly.
it- yes.
Which I would believe that if we have to drop the water level to repair, to make sure that we don't have a catastrophic event in the future, we would have that right, no, because we own the dam.
There's also, if you look at the DES website for the output, so the stream that goes along Winnegon,
Yeah.
with taking that board that has the crack in it, the space, out, and putting a full board in there, are we choking off the outlet? And we can't do that by DES requirements.
Water's still flowing through.
So, but at
She's
this,
saying it
at
was a
this
request
point,
for us to stop the water coming through the gap between the boards.
right,
Right.
Yes, it was.
And right now, the water's flowing over the top because there's enough water.
Right.
right,
And what she's pointing out is, the state doesn't want us to let that brook run dry. They want a constant amount of water keeping that brook going.
Flowing.
Right.
And so if the water level dropped because we didn't get a lot of rain, and we didn't get a lot of rain, we got
Right.
a lot of rain, and then we
Initially.
didn't get any,
Right.
right,
right? If it dropped below the dam, which someday it will, because of just not enough feeding the pond, that the water should be able to flow through the boards to keep that flow going. That she's pointing out in the conversation between us that we really shouldn't be trying to seal all those boards up, because
No, and I agree fully, and I know one board was already replaced, and it didn't seal it. It just lessened the amount of flow a
Right.
little bit. It was, when I looked at it, I couldn't tell I could tell the difference, but not by that much. Not by that much. But no, I understand, that
Right.
makes perfect sense. And the water levels are going down just because of, it's the
Like-
summer, evaporation.
so even though the
Rain.
water's flowing over the top now, if we get a correspondence saying they'd like us to stop the water from coming through the cracks, I think she's suggesting that we take
We
no
don't do
action on
that.
that.
Oh, yeah, we've taken action on it, we don't need to take any further action. My contention is because there is that
area of the dam that needs to be repaired, and the fact that the dam belongs to the VDOE, it doesn't matter what the ordinance says. I think at that point, we could do what we need to do to ensure that there's not a future catastrophic event there.
We cannot violate an ordinance.
I disagree. What legally says you cannot violate? We're not violating an ordinance.
The ordinance
We're
should-
preserving the ordinance by protecting the dam.
The ordinance wasn't written correctly, and we didn't
Correct.
have the opportunity. The moderator did something I think is not acceptable, is he didn't allow any changes to what he called a proposal.
Yeah.
He made up a definition that's not in the state law at all, and prohibited any modifications, any amendments to what was being proposed by someone other than the board. It was a petition
Right.
warrant article.
Right.
I don't know
I
where,
remember.
and then he casted the deciding vote on a ordinance that shouldn't have been passed,
Right,
that prevents us from maintaining the dam.
right.
But I don't think it prevents us from repairing the dam.
We can't lower the water level.
Who says?
The ordinance,
Okay, if the dam were to catastrophically fail, then the ordinance, it goes out the window anyway.
if the dam fails, we're in big trouble.
Right, exactly. That's my point. And because the dam belongs to us, the VDOE, and if the DES says that thing needs to be repaired, and this is how you do it, I don't think we have to wait. Let's say it was happening right now. We don't have to wait till this ordinance to get changed. I can't believe that's true.
Like an emergency.
As I understood
There
it,
would have to be an actual emergency, which means it would have to fail
Yes.
in order for us to do anything.
Yeah. It would have to fail, yeah.
okay,
Let me just interject here and say, we took the time to meet at the dam when the inspector from the state came out.
Uh-huh.
right.
And I was very surprised that he seemed to have no problem with the way that the dam was currently set up. I would like to actually request a copy of the pictures that he took when he took his cell phone and stuck his hand down through the grate into the darkness of the overflowing water, and supposedly took a picture of where the hole that they reported to us is in the side of the dam. I bet you that picture doesn't show anything. And so we pay a lot of money. Matter of fact, that rate is doubling what we're paying for these inspections.
Right.
So then the guy brought us over and was telling us where to take trees out for when the dam overflows, which I found unbelievable that that's what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but that was a year ago, and when I looked at that hole, it was there, but it didn't really look all that bad. The last time I looked at it, which is, like within the last month, I'm saying, whoa, that seems a lot more serious now than it did a year ago. What's it gonna look like a year from now? So that's my point. That's my point.
Which makes it even more important that the commissioners be in charge of that ordinance.
I agree. I agree. But the point is if we had to draw down the waters to repair that, to preserve the dam, to prevent a failure in the future, I don't think an ordinance would hold us up.
It would.
There's nothing legally that binds us to that.
There is. The whole point of an ordinance is
It's kinda like
that
you're saying
it
there's no
cannot
legal
be
basis for having an
changed.
ordinance.
Well,
right,
It is a law.
right.
all right. All right, is there no way you could hold a public hearing to say, this is what the ordinance says, but this is what we need to do, and get a consensus among those who show up at the public hearing? I'm not,
That sounds like something you do when there's an emergency. But I'm not sure. Like you would have to hold an emergency kind of meeting.
okay, I just think under extenuating circumstances, common sense should rule out.
No, the ordinance wins.
Common sense should have prevailed at the meeting
Yes,
where
correct.
they changed the ordinances to what it is today.
Right.
Caused the problem.
Right, but that's neither here nor
The
there.
farce of it is,
Yeah,
they're hell-bent to keep the water level high, and everything they did was putting the dam in jeopardy where the water level could drop very low because of what they did
Right.
and take a long time to fix it with no budget to fix it. So they have to be educated that they can't do what they did in any case, on any subject. Because this is the unintended consequences. They should have seen that happening, but they didn't.
Okay,
It
but,
was myopic what they were after.
okay, but now we're getting back to it, and Nancy, you pointed out several times that to strip the governing body the ability to modify the ordinance is not permissible under New Hampshire regulations.
Correct, there,
And yet, that's what that ordinance says, so why does that not become null if what you are telling me is true?
because you have to recognize the power of the legislative body, and the legislative body put it into place. However, all the RSAs for creating ordinances leave the ordinance under the Board of Commissioners or the Selectmen. There is, like, if you look at some RSAs, say capital reserves, it says that the commissioners are in charge of capital reserves unless limited by the legislative body. That wording does not exist in ordinance creation. It all says, that's why you have to have the public hearings, that's why you have to put the information out first. However, the legislative body passed it as is, and I'm not gonna go against the power of the legislative body until they say it's okay to change it.
Okay, so you're saying the legislative body trumps normal New Hampshire regulations say about ordinances, and the governing body ability to.
I think the legislative body wins.
Okay. All right.
And I've always looked at it that way, as the legislative body is the ultimate power.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can see that.
So the way I'm looking at it is, this is all on the people that voted to change the ordinance that doesn't allow us to maintain the dam. Now, the right thing is for it to come back in front of the legislative body
Right.
next March, and hopefully the dam doesn't have a problem between now and next March.
Right.
And there should be a lesson in here of the legislative body listening to a group that is going against what the governing body is proposing, and having the moderator not let the governing body state the case, which he did not.
Right.
That was a sin, the way that happened. So, there we are. I'm saying it's all on those people if anything happens between now and March.
Okay.
Now, on the same subject, a member of that same group is advocating that we restrict access to the beaches by correspondence, I'm seeing come.
Yes.
And I think this is almost humorous to me, is I designed a system that would have restrictions on going into our parking lots 2 years ago, had the chief of police at that time approve it, and there was no action by the legislative body to do anything about beaches. And should the day come that there is a majority of people at the annual meeting that vote to pursue controlling parking at the beaches, then I think we have a system ready to go. I see one person writing a lot of stuff. I don't see the groundswell for any action at this point. It may happen next year, I don't know. But that's gonna be my position is, let me know when you wanna do it. I basically have half of it done.
What about additional signs?
More signs. Well,
Saying,
Saying what?
That, about parking at the beaches?
there's no restriction on parking at the beaches.
we gotta get there first.
There's restrictions on parking on the road now, so we'll
But
see how
not-
that
That's
goes.
not the
That's step number
beaches.
one.
Okay.
Correct, and
And now
that,
that means no one parks on the road, the parking lots could be jammed with
That's what I
cars
mean.
that are not Idlewise property owners, and nobody from
At all.
Idlewise can go to the beach driving their car there.
Correct,
It can be all people from outside Madison.
yeah.
right, and that could be, the restriction of parking on the roads could be the catalyst that gets it passed at the annual meeting
I see.
to set up a parking permit situation at the beaches, so that, you know,
Okay.
and like you said, we have it pretty much ready to go, and have for a number of years. This is something that has come up every few years forever.
But then it never
Um,
comes
but
to
it never-
petition it as a warrant article.
It doesn't show
It
up.
has been in front of the voters and they voted it down.
They voted it down
I get you.
a couple times.
Okay,
Well, I think this may be the year, because I should be taking notes, but I think I'm hearing from some people that they would favor.
And from what I understand, it
parking-
got voted down because one of the commissioners at that time said it was unenforceable, which was interesting because the Madison chief of police, prior to the current chief, said
It is.
completely enforceable.
mm,
So, we'll see.
Okay, well,
Yes.
I think there is some sentiment toward having those parking areas for VDOE residents only.
Well,
I
you
think,
get
that's
to
my
decide
sense.
whether you want
That's
it
my
on the
sense.
warrant with or
Yeah.
without a petition warrant article
right,
in a few months,
Okay,
before you know it.
before I know it. It's coming.
'Cause
Oh, yeah.
As Carol
I
would
already
say,
got my list
summer
going.
flies by too fast.
does.
And winter takes forever to get it through.
All right, so I'm in my commissioner's report.
So in
Still.
in the meantime, you mentioned, painting around
Oh, yeah,
right.
right.
The bridge.
I'm seeing things like the office could get painted, the stairway going into the office could get painted.
Hmm.
I don't know if anybody uses that bench that's outside the office,
No,
but that needs to be,
they used to when people would smoke and whatever, but
nobody
It's not
nobody
used
waits
anymore.
for,
to get in the office. No.
nobody spends Saturday or Sunday sitting at the
Pulls a ticket turn.
So, the roof of I would like to get the roof of the Summit, pump station, with a couple of coats of elastomer. And I think at the next, social that's at the top of the mountain, we should get there a little early as a board with a meeting and go in and examine the inside with, I'll bring a floodlight, a hand light that lights up. I want you to look at the roof from the inside, because we should probably take the insulation out of there and have that sprayed once we get the roof sealed.
Oh, right. you
But I wanna
mentioned
look at
that.
the rafters before we send anybody onto the metal roof to paint it, to make sure the rafters
Hold
are
up,
sound.
Strong enough, yes.
oh boy.
So, I had contacted the roofer that lives in Idlewise, and he promised twice that he would give us a quote, and I have not heard from him, so I won't be pursuing him anymore. I think we should look at the budget to see whether we can get, building maintenance, general government maintenance, building maintenance, that line item. Whether we can do something to the bridge after we look at the bridge and see if the three of us think that we should do anything to that.
So is there something that needs to be rebuilt or just painted?
Well,
Or are you trying to determine that?
Maybe some of each.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would like to see the rail stiffened up and a handrail put on the outside of it where the guys have to walk across the beach and across the cement to get out onto the dam to do board.
Oh,
There's nothing really for them to hold on to while they're tiptoeing across the cement to get out to where that is. So I'd like to put more wood on it,
I see.
but I would need to see how sound the whole railing structure is
Yeah, before we could,
before we do add to it.
yeah.
So we need a meeting down there just for the bridge across the dam.
what about the
sometime.
Hutwell sign area too? That
Well,
kinda needs
that
work.
bus stop,
Yeah,
I wonder whether we should have the bus stop there or not. Do they really use the bus stop? Should there be an open air roof that they stand under? It was supposedly, the idea was they could get out of the winter wind
yeah.
Right,
but it's also a place where they load it up with trash. Which kinda doesn't make it inviting for kids to use it as a bus stop.
Mm-mm.
And the reality is most parents park there while they're waiting for the bus
They're in
for
the
their kids in
cars.
the car.
Correct.
They're not
They
using
don't
that.
leave the
Nobody's
kids
waiting in
anymore.
that.
No.
I've never seen anybody.
I don't think anybody drops the kid off. I don't know if, there's kids usually playing outside the car when the weather's okay.
Yeah,
I don't know if anybody drops a kid off and drives away, leaves them with the other
I don't
cars
think
down
so.
there.
I don't think so. These days, no.
We should get input from people that leave the kids at the bus stop as to what we should do there. Alright, what else? Maybe paint the Muddy Beach Pump House that was supposed to be painted 15 years ago.
Uh-huh.
You saw that I sent there was an advertisement on Channel 9 for a company that does water treatment systems.
Mhm.
So I thought that they may be somebody we contact because they do commercial public water system uranium systems.
Yes, the one down in Manchester.
Yeah, we could certainly add them to the list when we put that out to bid.
Because they say they go statewide, so
Yep.
we'll see what kind of pricing they do. That's all I have. Oh, so we got a check for $6,642.51
Yep.
from the state of New Hampshire
mm-hmm,
in FEMA this was for the installation of for the fixing of the Bergdorf and Barden culverts in 2023 after the storm. We also have $46,000 advance for the design of a new culvert system at Grissom. Outstanding, but has been submitted is a request for $5,062.50 as 75% of the reimbursement for the work that we paid Heath to do on Bergdorf ditching.
oh,
We have a request for reimbursement of 75% of $27,000 that was spent in 2023 to fix the gravel shoulders of roads that were paved and had the pavement damaged at the edge of the road. So right now New Hampshire could send us any day a check for $5,000 and a check for almost $21,000. What I'm working on, I'm encouraged by the fact that they sent us the $6,600, that we're not dead with FEMA and the state of New Hampshire. That I'm working on a request for all of the ditching and culvert cleaning that happened in 2023. That will be something I expect to be bigger than the $20,000 that we're asking for. So that has yet to be submitted to them as a request. I wasn't prioritizing getting this stuff in until I saw evidence that any of this was worthwhile. I'm gonna take that $6,000 check as a sign that I should continue working on this.
But unlike that, for the design, the 6,000, we can roll over to continue work on improving our roads. We can apply toward that as the plan, as I recall, that was the plan.
And I think once the DPW finishes with the Appinville project, which is gonna take more time,
mm-hmm,
if you didn't catch that from today's conversation. I think they should take a break from FEMA-related work and go around and bring regular maintenance up to a level where some of the roads need to get some attention that's not FEMA reimbursable. I think during the next few weeks, they should go around and see if there's any problem areas. I'm seeing things like on Blinden, where Blinden comes down into East Bergamo. The rain has rutted that up. So there's regular maintenance that needs to be done, which we talked about at the beginning, is that they just can't be doing FEMA all summer, and because this is gonna happen. So
Right.
we're at the point that I think they need to go around and look at, they know already what roads
Yeah.
needs to be done.
I think they outlined it.
We need to take the time to do that, and then we'll get back to the FEMA stuff. We have until August of 2026 to complete all these projects.
Well, do we want to, well, I guess it would be moving forward. We could see how the fall's coming together with the DPW as to whether they're gonna get any other road, like they were talking about West Bergamo. Do we want to have a contractor do another road, just like we did with Bergdorf?
I was talking to them yesterday about what we're learning is for having them do what they're doing with one truck, one six-wheeler, has the backhoe and the grader waiting for that truck to return. It would be better to either have, we were hoping to have another six-wheeler
Right.
in this project, and that wasn't happening. That didn't happen. So they have a few ideas of how they could have used, if we ever got the truck, the Ram back from Mark Motors, they could be using that to jump out of the grader or the backhoe while Jeff is transporting to Albany. They could fill the Ram and bring it to Bern and stay active while the International's returning from Albany.
Right.
The other thing was have the grader work with a contractor that has an articulating front-end loader and 2 10-wheelers. And the grader could be going much faster. Meanwhile, Jeff and Yuri in the backhoe and another one of the trucks could be working somewhere else, like replacing the culverts they want to replace on Hotwell. So they're thinking about it, how we
Okay.
can get more efficient at it.
Wow.
Okay, good.
And so that's something we could try to figure out while we have them go back to maintaining the roads for a bit in August.
When I
Good.
was talking to the crew yesterday, I think this is a little optimistic, but they thought they'd get Appinville done this week. And I see on the foreman's report that he was gonna start ditching West Bergamo or Hutwell this week. But I think what you're hearing, the latest, is that's a little aggressive. And even if that was the case, if they could, you want them to do other work, non-FEMA work, as opposed to jumping right into, I was under the understanding West
agree with
Bergamo
that.
was the next thing, the ditching.
Are you agreeing with that? or-
I'm not disagreeing, but how much time? I mean, summer's flying by, so we had a very aggressive plan to do 3 roads: Appinville, West Bergamo, and Hutwell. At this point, I'd be really happy if we got 2 of those 3 done before the season's gone for that.
We need to put gravel down on some of the roads before winter. I don't want us backed into putting gravel down as the road's starting to freeze, because that's not good. So I'd like to get this stuff down and get packed in by traffic, and have them not scrambling in October to get the roads ready for plowing.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get the equipment ready for plowing.
So it does seem to make sense to me that we would move to regular maintenance and known needed maintenance after they finish Appinville for a couple of weeks, however long that's gonna take, 2-3 weeks, and then go back to West Bergamo and or Hotwell towards the end of the season.
Okay. And also, one of the line items on the foreman's report was talk to commissioners about subbing out ditching on Briston stock. Let's just say subbing out in general.
Well, they have a
Well,
reason for saying Briston stock is they're fearful that if the Briston stock ditch that runs down the paved incline that goes up to Adelboden at the top, that's gonna cause severe damage if that ditch isn't straightened out. They did do some work on it in 2023, right after the storm, and I need to see what it is they're talking about, because they don't like the way that it is right now. So that's why they wanna get a contractor to fix that quickly, so they don't have to worry about that getting into the winter and not getting fixed. I'm not sure exactly what they wanna fix, but we need to find out. And I also pointed out to them that we don't wanna bring an excavator onto that pavement when it's hot.
Yes.
It has to be, we want it
Right.
to be 50 degrees or less before we bring steel track equipment onto our pavement. That's new pavement too. It's not like the S-turn where it's old pavement. That's new stuff we don't wanna damage. So that's the little puzzle we have to figure out as to what needs to be done and how we're gonna do it. But they wanna make that a priority, get that done,
So
so.
we could probably set a time where, you know, depending on how long it takes us to look at Thusis, maybe we could pop up to Bristenstock right then and see what's going on. It'll be a matter of timing, you know, for their availability as well as our availability. But I think we could probably set something where we could all look at it as a group.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so I think what I'm hearing from you is you think all three of our selected roads are still doable within the season. I mean, Appinville's been a big learning curve for these guys, what with a new employee, having to do it on limited equipment, no outside help, that kind of thing. And they're doing a great job, but it's also taking a lot longer than anybody anticipated.
Yeah, equipment.
You know, there's contingency problems.
Mhm.
Okay, so,
Before I finish mine, when I was doing the FEMA work for the next report on everything that was ditched and culverts cleaned last year, I came across that trucking invoice again that I sent to you, and then I realized that we had talked about, I found an email where you had sent me a copy of the invoice. Is it possible, is it worth it? The invoice was for $960.
$960.
It's killing me that I can't get that into a FEMA request for reimbursement because it's 75% of $960.
Mhm.
Then I'm looking at how much effort goes into straightening that out. I think it's possible because the date that the village paid that invoice was the week after the July storm hit. And it looks to me like that truck could have started hauling all day long on the day after the storm, which would have been Monday, July 17th. And the date of his invoice is May 1st. Now, they could have hired him to come in after the May storm, but I believe the May storm was May 12th.
No, I think that was the overnight between April 30th into May 1st, if I recall correctly.
The storm?
Yeah,
What day, do you know what day of the week May 1st was in
I
2023?
should find that right away.
This is killing me that this
I'm
invoice.
pretty sure that was it.
I can't even tell you this yet.
I'll be there one
And they
moment.
didn't pay that invoice until July. And at that time, they weren't sending the invoices they weren't sending a copy of the invoices to the commissioners, so I don't have any of that stuff.
So May 1st was a Monday in 2023.
Then I'm gonna officially release the idea of trying to get that into a FEMA request,
Okay,
because I'm gonna now say the date of the invoice is correct, that the problem that's confusing me is it didn't get paid until
July of that year?
July 21st. And I can't explain that. Obviously, none of this was discussed at meetings at that time.
What were they bringing in? What was the, I'm gonna go back to.
Two different types of material. I think there's something like 15 loads of 1.5 and 1 load of 3/4.
That's a shame.
Okay, but, all right, I guess that, because that particular storm doesn't fall under FEMA purview.
No,
Right.
it didn't get declared a disaster and none of it's refundable.
But that was when the storm happened,
And that's when they were keeping records because they believed that it was going to get reimbursed.
Right.
And then they found out that it wasn't gonna get reimbursed. And then they stopped keeping track publicly. And then the next storm hit. And the information was really scattered.
Sketchy,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, because then those
This
transitions.
is
and
making the puzzle really hard to.
Yeah.
the first storm was bad, but the second storm was unbelievable.
And I'm only submitting what I have hard facts
I know.
on.
Yeah,
Right.
So if I can't find it, then too bad.
right,
Too bad for the taxpayer that that's
Well,
what
it's-
that government was doing at the time.
yeah. And we, like you said, we have to be able to show that we have all the proper information to submit to the feds for anything that we do, regardless of what happened in the past.
Yeah, cause
We
we
gotta
could
do
get
our best.
audited and.
That's
And
all
every
we can
time
do.
we accept the money that they send,
Right,
we're also agreeing that they can come in and audit
Right.
all of this
That's-
anytime they want.
that's the thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I'm releasing that invoice, I'm not ever gonna, the second time I'm worried about it.
That was a
I'm not
nice
worried
try,
about it. Yeah, yeah. Alright, now I'm gonna finish. I can keep going, but it's now 10:15. What do you have with it?
I have nothing.
Great.
Are you sure?
Okay,
Alright,
got a few things.
are you gonna do your driveway ordinance
Yep.
draft review?
Yes, so we'll start with that. Did a first draft for the driveway ordinance. It's really not quite as terrible as I thought. I did separate right up in, under permit, I separated, what was a very large 4.1, and created 4.2,
Yeah,
to show the alterations, because it was just kinda in there, you know, where it said, you know, that no person can create a new new drive access to class 5 or class 6 road, without getting a driveway permit, and then it said, a permit is also required for driveway driveway alterations that change the grade and all of that. So I put that into its own separate category,
yeah,
cause to me that needs to pop out more.
yep,
There's in the other, then we got the application set up,
mhm,
which I didn't know if we wanted to take off, make a minor change in this part, where it says from the district office, it says or the selectman's office. Well, the selectman's office will give you a Madison driveway permit that doesn't hit all the points of the Idlewise driveway permit. So I didn't know if we wanted to, potentially either take that off and say the district office or the VDOE website.
where is
Yeah.
this?
5.1,
I agree, let's not get town of Madison in, let's just use our own ordinance only.
right,
They might appreciate that.
okay,
Yeah, let's not make it, let's,
alright, so we'll swap that one.
Oh, I
and it
see.
talks in 5.1, exhibit 1, is this exhibit 1?
So that's kind of implying that if they came to get a Madison building permit, that they could also pick up an Idlewise application form.
Yeah, it does. because
Right, and
someone
that
questioned
can't
it.
happen, they don't have them upstairs,
Correct,
nor do they want them.
That's a good reason to take this off.
yeah, agreed, yeah,
Exactly. I was trying to find exhibit 1, but it's not labeled.
I don't know if there is an actual exhibit 1,
Well, it refers to an
Oh.
exhibit 1.
so it would just be the driveway permit.
Oh, okay, so we need to get that on there, somehow saying that's what exhibit 1 is. So that's for construction, driveway permit, for application for driveway permit, or? That's the one we show, conform generally to that shown in exhibit 1. An application, so it would be
Right,
this form, the application would be exhibit 1.
the application exhibit 1 on driveway ordinance.
Okay, so I think we need to add that, saying this is, because I'm going through the document, what's exhibit 1, what's exhibit 1? I mean, yeah, it says it in plain language, but when it says exhibit 1, I instantly turn to the exhibits and try and look for it, so I know what they're talking about.
So, I'll add. So after exhibit 1, we'll put the wording in parentheses, driveway ordinance, Or
Exhibit one,
driveway
application for a
application?
driveway permit. Oh, here, it does say Exhibit 1 of VDOE, but
Right.
it's in the lower, okay, all right. See, that's where the other ones, it says right at the top, Exhibit 2 and that stuff, and it's easy to read. That's what I'm trying to say. I've read this, there's certain parts of this ordinance, I don't think of myself as a dumb person, but parts of it is like, oh my God,
Yeah.
what is this saying? It's difficult to understand.
Right?
I think we need to understand it before we put it out too. Population at
So,
large.
Yeah, it's in there.
It's in there.
You just pulled it out.
Okay, so that'll show, we'll add that. So on the application fees, I rearranged them so that the new construction with the $200 is first, and took away that wording from the next line, which will simply say the permit for the $75 with an application for any changes to an existing driveway. So it'll separate the $200 for a new driveway to the $75 for changing a existing driveway.
So 6.2, the 75 is a change to an existing driveway.
Yeah, and it was already in there, but it was in the middle of
Yeah,
the
it's
rest of
just
that
way-
wording, so you could very easily miss it.
Do you think you have to clarify what changes are? Like, I don't know, that's kinda hard to be like, well, what kind of changes? I'm just trying to modify my driveway to make it work better. Does that require an application and a fee?
Well, okay, for 6.1, let me make sure I understand this. Obviously, new construction, piece of cake. Second driveway, piece of cake. Or rerouting of an existing driveway, it's gonna cost you $200 for a permit.
Mm-hmm.
But now we go to 6.2, all it says here is a permit fee of $75 shall be submitted with the application. You crossed out everything else. So you're adding, you're gonna add verbiage saying.
Putting back in the last part that says for changes to an existing driveway.
Yeah,
See, if you look, I got a little happy with the cross it off.
Yeah, we did.
So that wording actually has
I
to,
appreciate
that
that.
wording actually has to stay in.
So how is a
Okay.
changing, a change to an existing driveway different from rerouting an existing driveway?
Well, rerouting means you're actually changing the location,
Yeah,
Okay,
changing
As it comes into the road.
as it comes into the road.
which is a whole application
Okay.
to me.
Right,
okay, that's fine. Now that's clear to me.
okay.
Okay, so a change, as to bring up to Jennifer's point, is that changes would include, to give an example
Like
or
in
to
giving examples, yeah.
Okay, so then we can certainly put in,
provide some examples.
Like such as, such as, maybe,
Would that be, for example,
Paving.
okay, I want to put asphalt down, I want to do paving.
right,
Would that be at the $75 fee?
yep.
Okay.
what about size modifications? Because we've had an example of that as well.
Well, okay, I think size, let's say there's an existing driveway that now, up the driveway, they wanna put in a cutout
for like a parking area, so you can turn your car at a right angle or a left angle and park. So it's like a little bit of addition to an existing driveway, so that would count under this $75.
That's well into the driveway.
If
though.
it's into the driveway, it doesn't matter.
Okay,
Our main
that's what I'm
concern is
trying
where
to-
it comes, the curb cut into the
Yep,
road.
okay.
Right,
And what the water flow off of the driveway into the road is doing.
right.
Okay, so other than asphalting or paving, what's another example that might take, that,
If you're resurfacing the driveway, even if it's, whether it's gravel or, dirt, you know, whatever it be, when they grade them, they have a tendency to change the way it comes into the road.
Yeah,
And that's usually where you lose your negative grade.
uh,
like at the top of
Interesting.
Chicuro View Drive, okay.
Yep.
alright, so
So,
this
okay.
is where it
Yep.
gets sticky.
That'd be another concrete example we could provide.
Okay, so.
So regrading and resurfacing,
Thanks, Donna.
Okay, so something that's typically considered a modification to an owner.
Okay,
Is not gonna
resurface. Should we put in here clearly in this part in 2.2, so we'll add paving, resurfacing, within 15 feet of the road?
Oh, well, there you go.
Cause we're 10 feet of the road? What's the? I'm looking at exhibit 2 to see the drawing as to how far into,
how do you even,
You know, so,
or exit
as
3.
a layman, I had trouble understanding this drawing. It's gonna have to be
I've
explained.
been threatening to get you better quality imagery on this.
Yes, I actually request for those right in the,
Yes.
right in this,
Yeah,
I don't know how
cause I know they exist, I just don't have them.
I'll send them to you if you want to insert
Oh,
it into.
beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, so the first thing that I see clearly says gets within about 10 feet of the road. I'm looking at exhibit 3. That's where they're talking about your ditch and the slope.
mm,
it says platform, 20-foot minimum desirable. Look at this upper left-hand says.
Right.
That looks like it's from the,
So you wanna do 20?
yeah.
That's pretty far into people's
It
driveways.
kinda is, but if you're gonna
20 feet
include-
is not that long a distance. Think about all the ones we've looked, because 20 feet is the maximum width of a
Uh-huh.
driveway, right? We always, when we do our driveway inspection, we look at that. And it's really not that much. But chances are, if they're gonna resurface the driveway, they're gonna do all of it.
Correct.
From the top right down to the road. So why are we even worrying about? I don't know, a distance.
Because it's not just paving, it's, you know, them coming in,
And we have had
grading, regrading and,
we have had a property owner who stopped his paving 10 feet from the road because he believed that that was the amount of time, the amount of space that a permit was not needed within 10 feet of the road.
really?
Why did he believe that? It doesn't say it anywhere in here that I saw.
I believe a former employee might have given him that impression,
Oh, well.
but it doesn't matter, but.
That doesn't count.
But still, it could be out there, you know, people might think that. So that's why I'm asking, do we wanna put a specific distance from the road for any changes.
Well, if we do, then I'd say 20 foot is the minimum. And I'm good for going longer, but I'm saying that would be the minimum.
Within 20 feet of road? Because I can put that right into 6.2,
Yeah. Yeah,
if that would make sense.
And because this is a drawing, I mean, would that cover it, the 20-foot minimum desirable, this platform from
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right,
edge
Yep.
of shoulder to basically where the grade ends?
Right. Okay, so we'll do that.
Okay.
Then you got the driveway permit and the performance bond and that
What's
type of
needed,
stuff is all
yeah.
gonna stay as is. Okay. Then under construction, you get into construction next. The big changes on this one is in 7.4, because I didn't change 1, 2, or 3. So that's where I added number 2, or rearranged number 2, to
Yeah.
show that all roads, all driveways must meet the road at a negative grade.
yep,
Because that, like you said, is just kind of buried into one of the exhibits.
yep,
Okay,
So I added that so it's specifically out there.
so did you add 4? Did you add, 7.44, bullet point 4 or no? For a corner lot, no driveway
No.
shall be located, that was?
No, that's already there.
Okay,
Yep, the one I added, the change that I did was that they have to go at a negative grade.
okay,
And then in section, same section, number 10, is where culverts come in. Where it says that it's a 15-inch culvert, how it has to be constructed, that's where we're gonna need to put in the headers. So I put in headers are required for all culverts. Headers are to be made from stone to protect the inlet and the outflow. I think there might be more words that we need to put in there. But
stones,
I would like assistance in how we wanna word that. To properly build the headers.
could it be precast concrete? Headers? You say stones, but, which is, I guess, acceptable, but there's also, what if he wants to use a concrete precasted header?
The problems with those is that even when we install them, they don't keep a profile lower than the edge of the driveway, so a snowplow, our
It's a-
snowplow, particularly when we're winging, can take it right out of the ground. There's aesthetics with it too, people like to see the field stone versus concrete.
Okay,
But the physical problem with them were, the village put them in on Oak Ridge Road as part of the Oak Ridge Road project. The very first year, the wind came by and hit the top of them as it came across the driveway
eek,
and
Took
knocked them out,
Right.
took the top of the catch basins off. These all have to be
lower than the
wing.
road, okay.
Right.
So if it's
we
custom
don't
built
want-
with stones,
wow.
yeah,
Yes, you
Got it.
should actually say the profile can't exceed the height of the driveway.
that's the more important thing then, is,
That's how the stones get pushed in front of the output of the culverts, is the wing. In their driveway plows do it too.
Yeah, that must happen quite a bit, actually.
Yep.
Okay,
so it should be headers are required for all culverts, headers are to be made from stones, not to exceed the height of the level of the road to protect the culvert inflow and outflow,
The height of the driveway.
height of the driveway.
Below the elevation of the driveway.
Okay, so below the profile of the driveway. And there's supposed to be one on top too, right? Cause I listed out that, to protect the inflow and the outflow, but there's supposed to be one on top too,
On top of,
on top of the culvert,
Like what?
a
You mean
stone,
gravel?
a stone.
yes, and it shouldn't. And they do it where they put a stone on top of the culvert, but they don't support it by the outside edges, and they let that stone start to crush the plastic culverts, the black plastic.
Right, and you don't
It
want
needs to
that.
be- It needs to be suspended over the top of, by the sidewalls of the header,
Oh. Huh.
Has to be like a Stonehenge
the
thing,
table
table, yeah.
with legs.
A tabletop with legs,
Oh,
yes.
that's interesting.
I almost thought that we should have otherwise construct the headers at the cost of the owner, so that the headers actually come out the way the DPW needs them to come out.
We could,
Because the only way we know they did it wrong is after they constructed them. And who knows
Yeah,
what
when we're-
contractor they're using, and they don't read these things.
right,
So is that something we wanna put into the ordinance, that, headers need to be constructed by the village district of Idaweiss at a cost to the owner? Or is we just,
I wanna talk to them about that and think further
Mhm.
about that, is what are the unintended consequences
Yes.
of having the DPW have to get involved with every driveway culvert?
right,
They sure did like it when the Burn Company put in the culverts the way they did on Burn.
correct. So yeah, so.
We could have a contractor that specializes in otherwise headers, and that's who we call and have them do it.
that's true.
Like if Burnham did every culvert in Idaweiss, that would be great.
But that would have to be making it a requirement?
Right.
On
Yep.
the
Now it's
ordinance?
against the schedule of a contractor and
Right.
blah, blah, blah. It's-
Right.
Yeah.
So for right now, I'm just gonna add the tabletop
Yeah.
below the level of the driveway, and we'll revisit and see whether or not we have more thoughts about what we wanna do, cause it's gonna be a while before we get to a public hearing on this one.
Yeah, good now.
Don't the guys put in the culvert anything?
Not on new construction. The homeowner, whoever's building, puts the culvert in. Okay. Didn't change much in
Does it
the,
say that the stones are cemented, that there's mortar between the rubble, the field
Mhm.
stones?
it does not, it simply right now just says made from stones.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you got, so like I said, I didn't do any changes on maintenance, so section 8, but section 8.4 is where it will clearly tell you that if anything needs to be done that changes the property owner or the property owner's successor or anything else, I think you guys know where I'm going. It doesn't matter who did it. The current property owner is the one that has to fix it.
Right.
And we do have somebody who's questioning that.
Mhm.
So for under 9, for the permit, I took out the statement where it said that it has to be commenced within 90 days. But left the, should be completed within 1 year of the permit, and then that the permits can be renewed or extended. But they have to confirm to any updated standards The district does have the right to revoke,
Yeah,
and you got we gave ourselves apparently when it went in, we gave the right to, waive parts of the ordinance if the board chooses, I don't know if we wanna leave that in.
Did you add that?
No,
no,
this was already in there. It says it may waive strict compliance with standard procedure set forth in this regulation. If they find that it cannot be met and that it would be done in writing, so it would specifically be something that there would be a conversation and documentation from the board to that. But do we even wanna keep this in there?
I don't think so.
Wait,
Well, we had a discussion about
wait,
commissioners violating the ordinance.
yeah, we kinda did.
They gave themselves a clause that lets them
They
violate
gave
this one.
themselves a clause to let them
Oh,
violate
It's
it,
funny, the
back
petition-
in the
The
90s.
petitioners didn't put this clause into the
They didn't.
damn ordinance, huh?
They didn't give us that right.
That's
Wait
a
a minute,
good
wait a minute,
example.
haven't we sort of done that already, because we saw, let's say, example up on Linden Road, we saw a driveway that was paved and there was no longer any negative grade, so we basically sent a letter saying, we're gonna be looking at this, we're gonna be observing this, and if it creates a problem, we'll get back to you later to address it.
We've done that many times.
But in a way,
last year.
basically, we are waiving when we do that. So that's what I think
It's for.
Okay,
that's for.
I don't
Otherwise,
think we're waiving, we're saying that we're observing that they aren't in compliance with the ordinance. And here's what we're doing about it. We're not giving them a waiver on it, we're saying we're watching this to see if it causes a problem. It's open-ended.
right.
it may be open-ended, but if we were to stay within the strict accordance with the ordinance, we wouldn't be open-ended, we'd say, no, you gotta fix this now. Would we not?
Well, this is where I think that we could, and it might be something we need to add in here, that in places where something's previously paved, or that we might wanna require those grates. There's one on Oak Ridge that we required that grate, drainage grate. There's
Young-
one on Jungfrau that we required a drainage grate because the runoff from the property was so strong that it was overtaking the road. And you mentioned grates at one that we were looking at not too long ago. So should we put that, it's not actually in the ordinance about putting in a grate.
Well, grade wouldn't be needed if they did the negative grade properly.
So we'll keep that for us. That we can require a grate.
I think maybe we should put that in, if
Would you put in there, we could require the driveway get paved? We're looking at all the uphill ones on Jungfrau. There's no way they're putting a negative grade in there unless they take a lot of the lot out, like the guy just did on Hotwell and Platts, where they excavated to the side of the hill and dropped the whole lot down.
Right.
Which I think the Jungfrau lots, you can't have a compliant driveway. If you look at the way they've all been done, none of them are compliant, and they all can damage the road in a heavy storm.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're trying to get away from.
Right.
so are we saying that a negative grade or a grate at our discretion, based on application review?
As long as you understand that we don't ask for grates to go in on driveways that aren't paved. You don't put a grade in the gravel
Right, only a
driveway.
Yeah,
paved
that
driveway.
wouldn't work,
Right.
right?
Okay, so,
And then the other thing that we've learned since we did this is, if they don't maintain the grade,
yes, it gets all clogged up and,
it's null.
Defeats the purpose.
It's, doesn't work at all.
but then that would become a letter like we've done to people saying you're cleaning your yard and depositing all your sticks and crap into our ditches. So we could tell them the same thing, you gotta clean your grade out. It's impacting our roads. But I mean, the grade works if it's clean. Okay, so
So then.
if
we
a
go
person
back.
paves, asphalts their roads and puts in a grate, great. But if they pave the road, don't put in a grate, and there's no negative grade, then we need to go back and tell them, put one in, or dig it up and put in a negative grade. Although the grade seems to make more sense with a paved driveway, right? Have I got that right? Would that be the more economical solution if you paved without a negative grade and had to go redo it as opposed to digging up and put a negative grade, just put a grade in?
Yeah, the grate would definitely be the
Easier way to solve
the
it.
easier way to solve the issue. The question is whether we wanna put that into the ordinance directly, or if that is something that the commissioners can choose to have the
I would like it in the ordinance because, as we have seen, we've seen drawings where they're gonna pave the road, the drawing has a negative grade, and lo and behold, the job is complete, we go there, where's the negative grade? It's not there. Okay, we can go back to them and say, you didn't follow the ordinance, but you have now a backup to satisfy the ordinance, because now you have to put in a grate per the ordinance.
So when we issue a driveway permit for construction and on the operation, there's a portion that says conditions. So can't we just say that the village opts to include conditions when we, submit or approve a permit?
We can, I guess my point is if we could work that wording into the permit, into the ordinance, then,
I mean, I
then
think
we're,
that
then we're
would allow a
covered, we're
broader
covered,
spectrum
and
of
they can't
what
argue
we're
with us.
required
They
to
think
do.
it's in the ordinance.
Okay, so we'll say something in here about maybe requiring a grate.
Yeah, something to the word, if a finished paved road does not have a negative grade, even if the original design was to have one, then a grate must be installed.
I think you can use the conditions portion to our advantage, really. Just basically
Well,
word.
I would look at the conditions portion for things we can't foresee. One of those things that all three of us, all four of us, any of us in this room can't foresee. It's like one of those things like, who'd have thunk it? But what
When you're issuing a permit, there's conditions that are placed on a permit, which I've seen you guys do many
Okay.
times. And that's the premises of, we're gonna be monitoring this, because here are conditions for you to get a permit for construction. And we're gonna monitor this.
Yeah. I'm just trying to cover ourselves every which way from Sunday.
Right, and I think we could use conditions
Yes,
to
we
your
could.
advantage.
I'm
In
not
that way.
I'm not disagreeing with it. It's just I would like to, since this is
But, even broader than just a grate.
this is a
You know what I
problem
mean?
we have seen time and again where a paved road does not have the negative grade that the original drawing said it would have it,
Well, yeah.
A driveway.
a driveway. Therefore, we'd have remedies
Mhm.
for us and for the homeowner.
Okay, well, I'll put something in and then
Yeah,
we'll
Yeah.
see what we're
Okay,
gonna come up with.
yep,
Okay, so the maintenance portion is district's issues for district
yep,
requirements for we clean the culverts, as long as they're put in by permit, by permit in the first place. The right of way. Protect the roads. So we were up to the
Penalty.
penalty. And here's your RSA that will clearly say that a violation of any ordinance is covered under RSA 263.14.
mhm,
236.14.
I did the numbers backwards,
Yes.
didn't I?
I do that.
Okay.
Yeah, transpose that.
It's one of those things I do.
I know. Dyslexia type thing. We all get that.
Yeah. So, for the drawings, exhibit 2, I asked for better drawings. I know I have a better drawing because we've been using it. I have one in the
yeah.
little book.
Yeah, when you bring it to
But I don't have it electronically to put it together, so.
Right.
Send them
We
one.
could scan.
So exhibit 2 and exhibit 3
That's
will
good.
get much better so that they're a full page and you can actually read some of the
Yeah,
things in there.
yep,
Then the driveway permit itself is is connected to the end of it, to the permit, and that's fine. But I'm thinking the last 2 pages, which is the driveway permit for construction and the driveway permit for operation, those are VDOE forms
yes,
and not part of the actual permit part,
application.
Ordinance.
Yeah,
so I'm thinking we should take them off.
yeah, agreed,
Mostly because you think, worst case scenario, that somebody could give themselves a driveway permit for operation with any of us ever looking at it,
But, hold on.
because it's out there and readily
So you're saying
available.
the driveway permit for construction won't go in the,
ordinance or application.
because there is some questions on the backside of this, say, do you plan on installing your own well or using the water supply?
That's the application.
That's the
Yeah.
application. That's not the permit for
Permit
construction.
Oh, well, okay, it's the way I printed out in my machine.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's fine, okay, I got it. That really should be on the back of, I got a 2-sided printer, of the application. This is really the backside of the application.
Right,
Okay, my fault, okay, got it.
and mostly just thinking, since computer stuff is getting so, people are getting so good at it, that somebody could give themselves a driveway permit for construction and or operation, by finding signatures online,
Yeah,
like those, right at the bottom of this,
geez.
You know,
we may have to
people-
get, we may have to get one of those old-fashioned embossers,
Yeah,
like,
but
like,
that's one of the
notaries
things,
have.
that's one of the things they're talking about with, people trying to steal people's houses,
Yeah,
is that all they have to do is find a couple of signatures online and copy them into the document, and then all of a sudden, how do we not know, then somebody could have something that we haven't actually authorized.
Well,
So that's why I'm thinking we might wanna take them off the back of the permit
Totally.
itself,
okay,
completely,
if that makes sense.
that makes
Yes.
sense.
Yeah, we're certainly not doing away with the forms. We're,
no, but they shouldn't be
we're
something
just
you
trying to
can
make
print
it so
out.
that it's not,
And it prints out all in one lump,
correct,
you go, yeah, and
correct,
it shouldn't do that.
right.
So you'll do another draft of this and we'll do
I will.
another review as we go along?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and what else did I have? Okay, there was a while ago, there was a discussion, about the kayak racks. Or the, technically canoe racks that people use kayaks and they don't actually fit.
Yeah.
There had been a discussion with the EPOA, I think a couple of years ago, or the board, about giving permission to put side, so if they go this way, do a cross beam in the middle of the existing, so that something couldn't fall through.
Right, so fit a kayak, yeah.
So, I didn't know if,
Oh,
you know, I mean, Doug's not here today. Sometimes that's a EPOA question as to whether or not they might wanna look at doing that. You know, we're not gonna need permits, cause they're existing structures, and all we're doing is adding one side
like a board,
board.
like, yeah. Okay,
So I guess we can ask the EPOA if they,
Yeah, it's an easy fix.
you know,
And it would still accommodate a canoe. If a person has a canoe, it's.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
it wouldn't. Becomes a canoe / kayak rack,
you know,
yeah.
so,
So you can ask them what they think of that, or you can ask them to do that?
see what they think of it. Cause then it'll be up to them, and if they don't have funds or aren't able to do it, do we wanna think about it? You know?
so I haven't been proposed with anything like that at the office. Nobody has said, oh, my, you know, I wanna put, you know, it's falling through and it's driving me crazy, can't
Well,
we
we've
do
had
something about
multiple people that have made comments, that exact comment, that my canoe falls through, or
When?
my kayak falls through,
it? When did this occur?
you know?
Yeah, I
haven't
recall Doug
received
bringing
any.
that up at one point.
Yeah,
Like
And
years.
saying that.
Years ago?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think there was one, either last year or this year, that commented about something falling down to
Maybe
the,
last
to the
year,
rock,
not
to the,
this
to
year.
the rack below, you know?
I'm sorry.
So, yeah,
This is
yeah,
a thorn in my side.
Well, would this also fall under, I mean, when the whole issue of the swampiness and the Idlewild Beach racks getting.
If trying to
Find it
move
out.
them is gonna require permits, and
That's
when.
not where I'm going with this, that's
Yeah.
not where I'm
Okay.
going with this. The point was, these elaborate plans, we know who drew up and said, and then why bother? Because, you know, we all went down there, Mark and I were down there, and people already put, pallets down, and it corrects the problem.
Oh, I get you.
The problem is
I see,
by
yeah.
and large pretty much solved. So.
Right, that was for the swampiness, that has nothing to do with something falling through.
I get that, but the
Okay.
point was, it was just done. There was like, nobody asked permission to do
No,
it, it
they
was
just
just
did it.
done.
Yeah.
What's to stop a kayak owner who has that rack, to just put in his own cross
Because
beam?
it's not his rack.
He doesn't own the rack, but let's say he doesn't get it the next year, it's still perfectly good for a canoe or a kayak. It's not harming anything.
Okay.
It's
And-
actually
and
enhancing
getting
it.
Back to the people saying, well, I reserve the same rack every year and I
You're-
modified my
you're
rack
changing-
and. I don't know, I think.
What's the difference?
Yeah, I think I'd rather see it done officially
Yeah,
than hodgepodge where some person might do it, some person might not, you know? I'd like to see it consistent across all the racks.
Okay, I'm just saying, if we wanted to get out of the business of it, let people modify it as long as it can always support a canoe or a kayak.
then that's something that whoever takes it over, if that's gonna be the case, they can review that then. I just think it's.
Right now, it's not an issue.
It's not an issue this
She
year.
hasn't heard of it in her term,
Right,
so let's not spend any more time today on it.
okay.
Let's bring it up if it becomes an issue.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the only other thing I had, I think we already touched base on parking, and we did get a letter from somebody or a email from somebody
yes.
requesting or talking
Yeah,
about
talking about the parking
restricting, and
at
we're
the
well aware that
beaches.
we know how
Yeah.
to do that. But we have not gotten it passed at the annual meeting
Right,
Right.
as of yet.
Right.
That's phase 2 in the master plan.
So, yeah, so the only other thing that I had listed is that I did work with Jen last week, and we're gonna get up to the financials part of this, and that's what we worked on.
all right, great. Yep.
Sorry, we're late.
Sorry. So at 11 o'clock exactly, we see that we have nothing for water. We've discussed that already in the commissioners' reports.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a scheduled appearance. We'll move into the administrator's report at 11 o'clock, and we'll do income statement and profit and loss and budget. So we'll start with the,
Income?
sure,
Operations, income.
is that a loose sheet with the profit and loss?
Yeah,
They're-
I've got
they're
this,
both
I have this
single
as a
sheets.
separate sheets, just page
So
1 of
the
1.
first one's the operation, the smaller size one is water,
Mm-hmm.
These.
correct.
Yep,
So we'll start with ordinary income expense. And
This is just gonna reflect income.
yep.
so it starts with water then, right?
I don't know why it has water there, because it's got nothing to do with water.
So we put the label water at the top, but it starts with account number 1150.01. Account receivable 2011 water usage fee, 0. Grants reimbursement, we get down to the town of Madison appropriation. It shows that we've received a check for $387,547 from the town of Madison for taxes,
Mm-hmm.
mid-year tax payment. Usage fees, this report's 0. Hookup income 0, hookup fees 0. We've got none this year,
What?
hookup fees?
Hookup fees would fall
That's gonna
under
be under the water. It's on the second page, the next page.
So the way the report does it, puts it here also?
Correct.
Yeah, because that's how the whole system was set up, because at one time, I believe both water and operations was handled under one account.
Right, these accounts were never eliminated when they went to 2 separate
So they're in
accounting
both,
systems.
and they should just show up as 0 now in the operating.
Yeah.
because it's-
Correct.
Yeah.
It's duplicated over in the water.
Yep,
So anything with water, we should just skip in this report.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Driveway
yeah.
inspections, we've gotten $1,075 in income.
Mm-hmm.
The sale of the property, this is the Bristol stock lot, including the $75 fee to pay to get the whole auction going.
Yep,
So that's $20,175. Interest, we've earned $33.80. Income from payments for the use of the radio tower at the top of the summit is $7,260 so far this year. Highway roads income culverts, $42,258.79.
that's the payment.
that's the
That's where
FEMA.
the FEMA
Payment.
payment went.
So this is for architecture and engineering of a arch culvert for Grissom. And that's being logged under highway roads culvert income.
Correct.
Insurance dividends, this is the payment from the insurance company of the money stolen in the cyber attack on the bank
Yes.
account.
Yes,
$14,560.67. Other income, $378.74.
that was the scrap metal that got brought for recycling.
Very good. And the rest of the accounts on this report are zeros.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have one comment on this. This is strictly where I put on my green eye shades. Is the sale of the district property, $20,175 from an accounting perspective, should not be recognized as income until such time that we know we don't have to reimburse this money because that property has been merged, whatever the buyers, it's all done, it's a completed deal, it's a done deal, in which case it's not going back, then it's our money. But right now, it really isn't our money.
So where is limbo while it waits to become revenue?
From an accounting perspective, that would be it would still go into cash, but it would be on the liability, a current liability of the balance sheet. But it would not be an income. Now, we don't have to get that
Yes.
detailed here. We could just say, this 2175 is restricted, we cannot use it for our own operations until such time that we have earned that income, that it really is ours. That's all I'm saying. But we don't have to do this the way the accountants actually do it. I'm just pointing that out. It isn't really income yet for us.
And accountants do things business-wise, not municipal-wise.
That's correct, but be that as it may, it's unearned income for us.
It is yes,
So
it's protected.
how should we treat the FEMA advance for the architecture and engineering of?
That was my next question, is exactly, how should we treat it? Because I think, if I understand that correctly, that $42,258 can only be used toward the design of the new culvert?
Yes, and we don't know how much that's actually gonna cost. I don't know whether we're gonna refund any of that money.
So, okay, I think if I'm hearing you correctly, let's say they come in, it costs, they quote us $30,000. Does that mean we need to send back to FEMA the $12,258?
I don't know. There was no rule book given to us when they advanced this money. It was quite a surprise that they advanced us the money.
Right.
Well, then maybe we need to go look, is it strictly for design? Could it be design and construction?
No.
No, just.
I'm guessing no. But I wasn't gonna ask any questions until we reached the point that we have money left over.
Right. Well, we have it listed to be protected anyway. So it's not gonna be listed as income when we do the report that will be due in 3 weeks to the Department of Revenue for our income for the year.
Right.
You won't list this.
Which is part of the reason why
We're doing this.
I said we need to do this now.
Yes.
So we won't be listing that income as federal income for this year.
So the
Yeah.
A&E for the Grissom culvert and the sale of the lot, unless the sale is finalized by the merger,
Mm-hmm.
which will probably happen, it's out of our control, the first week in September. I don't know if that's in time for your state report. It might stay in limbo at the time of that report.
I think it's due in September. If it's due for September 1st, we can, I'm pretty sure that we'll talk to the DRA as to any guidance per se, if we think we have some things coming in, because we have voted that this money's going back to the taxpayers
Right,
to offset the tax rate.
right.
And do you wanna keep it that
But
way?
we certainly don't wanna do that before we have confirmed that the merger has been set up with the planning board and that it is now one lot.
Right.
And while we're on the subject, do you wanna keep that vote in place, that this is going into offsetting taxes?
You guys voted on that prior.
We did.
I'm just questioning, now that we've had the experience with the banks and the TAN loan, whether we want, it's better for the taxpayers to have this in the unassigned fund balance so that we're not squeezed mid-year with needing a loan. That the unassigned fund balance is, we're raising the unassigned fund balance. I think we should visit the policy on what,
Yeah, the policy says 30% of this year's, highway and government budget.
Okay, so that's another thing we need to look at, and maybe revisit that 20,000. Does it get reimbursed, or do we use it to build our, if we're falling short of the unassigned fund balance metric?
Well, we're certainly not short on the 30%,
No,
but 30% is short.
but if
30% doesn't
30%
give
is short and we want to increase that, that will change
The
all
goal
the
should be,
numbers.
the goal should be that the unassigned fund balance pays all the bills from January 1st through July 15th. Or July 30th. 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
Each month isn't weighted the same as what the forecasted expenditures are,
Sure.
but we roughly know that we've got most of the winter from January, February, March.
You'd really be looking at about 50% of the
Yeah,
budget for the year.
well, 7/12 of the entire annual budget.
I think it's heavier than that because January, February, March are expensive months.
Well, and that's greater than 50%.
The other thing that is the payments. We need to look, well, we should just look at what the reports are right through now, how much we spent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's the best
Right,
measure.
we're at the end of July right now, yeah.
How much do we spend, Jeff?
Well, except we still have to do some upwards numbering because we have a new employee that wasn't here for the first
Yep.
half of the year.
We're gonna have new bills like, we're gonna be buying a truck next year. And there'll be sticker shock on that. So a rough number of what we've spent so far this year.
Well,
That should be right at our
Okay.
pull out the
50.
budget.
Profit and
Yeah.
loss.
If you don't mind us jumping to that.
Just jump in there.
well, you could look at the budget, would probably be better.
Yeah,
That's what we're
that's
doing.
right, budget, so,
Trying to get to the second page here. There we go.
347, 510.
Yep. And the proposed budget is 819,999, so we need to know what the percentage of 819,999 is. 347,510.
and I'll tell you right now.
That was your cue.
That's 42.4%, which means I still like Nancy's figure, minimum 50% should be the unassigned fund balance of the full year budget.
I think Madison pushed their unassigned fund balance up to a real healthy number. I think we used to have more on our unassigned fund balance than the town did. Now the town has, I think, over 400,000 in their unassigned fund balance.
Yes, and there was, okay, it was 14 years ago or so, we made an actual decision, the district did, to spend down the unassigned fund balance, drop it down to the 30%, which would cover us in a major emergency, so that we're not holding taxpayer money.
I see,
The unassigned fund balance is held taxpayer money
right,
by the district. So would be sort of going back towards the other way, the prior way of doing it, to up it,
Yeah,
you know? So it's,
But the lofty objective in mind is to avoid having to use a TAN, which costs the district more money anyway in terms of interest.
And legal fees.
and legal
And
fees.
Legal fees.
Yes,
So,
yes, there's good reasons.
right, there's good reasons, and it's a safety net.
So do we like the 50%?
I'll make a motion that we make it a policy that we attempt at keeping the unassigned fund balance at 50% of the current operating budget of that fiscal year,
Second,
Aye.
aye.
3-0. I'll make a motion that we revisit the vote to use the proceeds of the green space auction of land on Bristol stock to offset taxes in 2025 and keep it in the unassigned fund balance.
Second,
Aye.
okay.
aye.
3-0 on that.
And I don't think we know the answer to this right now, but how much is in our unassigned fund balance right now? I'm not, don't
All
think
we
I-
know is what the last audited statement said and what we could project gets added to it.
okay.
I don't have the audit, I actually do have the audit, I think. You wanna hear it now, if it takes me,
I think it's important that we know, since we're discussing that, we should know what we have.
it'll take me a few minutes here maybe. In the meantime, can we move on to,
Mm-hmm.
let's see, we were doing the income statement and we jumped into the budget. Do you wanna review the budget? I'll look up to see if I can get you the audit numbers.
Yeah, sure.
If we look quick at the
Oh, the water district?
the
Income?
water income, it's, I believe, much higher than, well, what was the water budget? The water budget was,
258, and we stand at 267, 260, just rounded up, 268, it's close enough.
okay,
So yes, we're above,
so we're above.
and there's still about, as I recall, $35,000 owed to us, Jennifer, roughly?
Roughly.
Except,
Or
wait,
towards
except some of those are losses, I mean, we got to write off, I think, it's like.
Oh, you mean the water payments?
Yeah, the water payments, two of those were that haven't been paid for years, was like
Right.
12,000 or something.
They're not being written off.
No.
We're
we
never
wouldn't
gonna
write them
collect
off, no.
Yes, we are.
Not anytime soon. Let's put it this way.
We're not gonna do them this calendar year, how's
Right.
that?
This calendar year, all the others, we should get
Yes,
that, because otherwise their water gets cut off and they're
Right.
not gonna want that, so. I'm gonna say maybe there's another 20,000 that's gonna get added to this. Those are by memory, I could be slightly off, but I don't think.
no, I think you're close,
I'm not wildly off.
yeah,
Okay, so, budget.
so budget,
So I always like to just start with the absolute, oh, and by the way, based on the budget for 2025, the unassigned fund balance should be 50% of that is 409,999. I'm just gonna round that up. 410,000. 410,000 should be our target for the unassigned fund balance for fiscal year 2025. So now we go to the budget, and 347,510 divided by 819,999. So if we go to the bottom line, everything all together, we have expended 42.4% of the total fiscal 2025 budget for the 7 months ended. I'm just gonna say, basically, this is through today, by and large. So we are doing well on that road. Now let's take a look at the line items.
yeah,
All right. So if we
just take the total administration. Okay, of the administration portion of the budget, we have expended 48%. And we're already well past half the year, so
Mhm.
we're below budget so
Yep.
far. Legal expense, wow, only $420 spent so far of 8,000 budgeted. I'm sure there's gonna be another big legal bill there, but maybe we'll stay within that budget for this year. Employee benefits. Employee benefits, we are at,
Yeah, less than 50.
no, we're at 64% of employee benefits, where we should be about 58%. A little over somewhere. Yeah, look at unemployment, it's that unemployment insurance, where we're not matching up. We have actual 16,552 spent on unemployment insurance, and we only budgeted 1,097. Is
I'll
that,
have to look at that,
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Theoretically, we should be only 58% spent on employee benefits, but according to this, we are 65% spent. So, but unemployment insurance is all, should be nothing more coming in unemployment insurance for the year, right? That's,
yeah, it's a once a year,
it's a one and done.
yeah.
So maybe there's a misallocation of unemployment insurance that's really buried somewhere else. We'll have to take a look at that. General government buildings. We've spent 7,770. Our budget was 21,950, so we've only spent 35% of that budget so far. Insurance, 100% spent. Good to go. Regional Association, pretty much 100% spent. These are nickel and dime items, I'm not gonna worry about it too much. All right, the big one is highway and streets. Oh, wait a minute, let me go to miscellaneous training checklists, where we spent $935, budgeted 2,000, so we're only at 46%. What do we normally put into miscellaneous training and checklists? That's for training, makes sense, but is that the keeper?
The supervisors of the
Checklists
are in there.
Okay,
And somewhere in September, I think, is when the NHMA has their budget
Yep.
stuff, and I think it would be beneficial for people to go.
Yeah,
It's usually over at Loon. We've gone.
Nice.
yeah, they talk about budgets and stuff, they talk
Yeah.
about a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, so that might be something that, and it's beneficial for, it'd be beneficial for Jennifer, it would be beneficial for any of us to go if we wanted to, but, so that's something that could come in for that,
Mm-hmm,
and that would go into that line too.
yeah.
okay. Okay, now here's the big one, the highway and streets, which includes labor, which also includes overtime, bonuses, on-call comp, then all the stuff that goes into the trucks, fuel, maintenance, supplies like salt, sand, culverts and basins, gravel, dust control, communications equipment, asphalt. We budgeted, when you add all that stuff up, we budgeted $410,000. We've, what?
And it just went wow.
It's a big one. We have spent $150,636. So we are only at I'm gonna round it up, 37% spent there. However, we had a new employee come on basically mid-year. So that's one of the reasons why it's way lower. Trying to see if there's any other big line item where it's way below. Yeah, you see it in the full-time staff versus actual versus budgeted. Part-time's on track. On-call comp is on track. Overtime's about a little more than a third spent. Bonuses are about 75% spent. No, excuse me. Yeah, so about 75% spent.
But overall, I think
But
we're doing
overall-
okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at did we overspend anything? The only thing we've overspent was subcontract equipment. But, like I said, when you take a look at the big picture, the total highway budget, we're well under. Okay. Street lighting, we budgeted 2,300. We've only spent 682 so far, so that's only 30% spent. Parks and Recreation is only about 25% spent. We budgeted 8,000, we spent 1,970. Then we go to bonds principal. We paid off the RAM 2019, right, Dinah? That's all paid off now.
Yep.
So that was a little higher than we budgeted. We budgeted 11,501. The actual final expense was 15,067. But that all gets balanced out by the interest. So if you look at the interest, it's pretty much a zero sum. We didn't overspend anything.
Right.
On the John Doe backhoe. No, never mind. That's good.
Haven't paid that yet.
Yeah,
All right. Yep.
yeah, that's still yet to come in. The 15,000 and whatever the 7,000 for the
Mhm.
interest on that. When do we,
October.
October, okay. You're calculating something.
Yes, I am. It's going to be a bit of a swag, but okay, if we had, I made a rough calculation of a fully loaded employee. If we'd had that new employee for the full year, and all our other expenses are the same as reported here, our highway budget would have been at 53% of annual budget. But if you strictly do it by 7/12, that would put us, we wouldn't want to exceed 58%. So we'd still be under budget on our highway, which is our really big highway budget, which is the big part of our budget, even if we'd had that full-time employee on for the entire year. There we go.
And that's actually a good thing.
Yes. Very good thing.
I could only come up with the 2022 audit. It's the 2023, we haven't done they haven't finished the 2024 audit yet.
Yeah, the 2024 we don't have yet.
So, I can't pull
All
out
right.
the 2023 audit, I can do that later. I'll send that to you. All set with the budget then?
Yep.
And is there any other part of the financials that you want to cover?
Now we're,
So overall, you're saying we're under 50%.
More than 50% of the way through the year and less
Yeah.
than 50% of the budget.
yes, with the knowledge of the fact that November and December are coming.
Right.
So I'm
So,
pretty sure of that.
And Mother Nature can do whatever it's gonna do,
Oh, yeah.
and it significantly changes the end of the year for overtime, for hours, for salt, sand,
Right.
if we're into snow.
right.
True.
Sometimes we are, sometimes we aren't.
That's why we said we were going to still look into getting a tan, whether we really need one or not. The problem was the bank, and I said I would look into the bank. So Dinah, you're here, are there any particular banks in town I should go approach that would undertake a municipal account?
You know, one of the things that I noticed that I was gonna contact, there's too much stuff to put into my report. I was looking at the New Hampshire Municipal Association website, because there's a seminar about social media that's coming up in August. It's a free online webinar. But while I was on their page, I saw they have a list of sponsors and advertisers. And one of the advertisers is the Bar Harbor Bank, which is in Concord, as Camden National Bank, which is in Camden, Maine, is now in New Hampshire. Evidently Bar Harbor Bank is in New Hampshire also.
Wow.
And here they are advertising to municipalities.
Mm.
So I thought, maybe we should contact them and find out what their policy is on TANs and on loans in general, because we do have the ability to borrow money, and we're not intending to do it this year against the warrant article for the
Right.
FEMA money. We don't know where we would go to ask for such a loan of $50,000, which we would need for 1 year. I think, particularly if we execute it next year. We're not intending on executing it right now this year.
Right.
Things could change, but we're not, at this moment, we're not intending. So, if you're looking for a bank to call, I was gonna call Bar Harbor Bank, and I can send you that information if you wanna do that,
Okay, I was hoping at some point, well before October, which we were say we're gonna address it, is just to walk in cold to local banks.
Uh-huh.
Sit down with somebody and just explain the situation and see what they can tell me.
Another one is the new bank branch they're opening up in Settlers, I don't know what they call that, Settlers,
Set
where,
the screen, so the-
no, across the street where the Spectrum store now is. There's a Meredith Village Bank
Yep.
branch.
Wow. Jeez.
And I don't know anything about them, but they're expanding evidently. And they're in Meredith, so they might know something about the state of New Hampshire.
Okay. I'm open to suggestions, otherwise I'm just gonna,
Those are the two I'd start with.
every bank I see in North Conway or Conway, other than our current bank.
There's a Norway's branch too, in front of the high school.
Yes,
That's a savings bank though, it shouldn't matter,
it's
It's a bank.
a bank,
Norway, okay,
So
Norway.
So does Meredith Savings.
Yeah, they're all savings.
Yeah.
right.
alright,
Yeah, and like I said, the local, I know that the trustees use TD Bank, so the town of Madison, through the trustees, has some significant money there. So they might be somebody to talk to. I don't know what their loan policies are.
yep, that's where I do my personal banking, well, my wife and I now.
You might ask for the
My person.
municipal officer. who does these things.
Yeah, right off the bat.
Yeah.
Ask for municipal officer, okay, very
Right.
good.
Because your regular loan officer or something like that doesn't,
Isn't gonna answer,
it's a
yeah.
whole different animal.
Right.
Okay, at 11:34, I think we should move on in the agenda.
You should,
We have kayak racks there. Did we pretty much cover that?
Well, we wanted to announce that there were kayaks put on a rack at Geneva Beach that didn't belong to the person that reserved the space.
There's plenty of open racks on Geneva Beach,
Um,
but they want that one.
Well, that's what they used. They thought they reserved it. So there's some miscommunication or understanding as to when they reserve, whatnot.
if I read your
But
message,
so I couldn't track down who really belonged to them because there were no names on the kayaks, there was nothing for me to go on. And the person that actually was listed to reserve that particular rack wanted to use their rack.
Mhm.
Therefore, those canoes were removed from that rack,
Okay,
okay? And
nobody's called yet?
since then, the person has been identified.
Ah, okay,
Apparently, they thought they were stolen.
okay,
And he was good enough to call the office to make us aware that he believed that his kayaks were stolen, and I
Mhm.
told him that we had his kayaks, they were safe and sound at the DPW.
it's $100 per boat to get them back.
And- Okay, so that's the thing where I'm leading to, and I don't know if we wanna take this into a not public to talk about this further.
okay,
What would
Okay.
be non-public?
because a name may come up.
Names and situation,
Right,
whatnot,
because I read your report, so yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's a non-public.
yeah. So what I needed to announce, I have done,
Okay,
and I think we're good there. for that.
Anything else on kayaks then, for now?
Nope.
And we have the master plan. So we should probably spend a minute talking about that.
Okay,
What I heard from our listening session at the beach Saturday was the issue of expectations of what the current zoning ordinances are for Idleways. And how people who own houses in other parts of New England and elsewhere may be surprised that the zoning ordinances in Madison for Idleways don't protect their property interests the way that their hometown may outside of New Hampshire and wherever their houses are. That up till 1987, Madison didn't have zoning ordinances. Idleways actually created zoning ordinances before Madison did in 1987. And people need to understand that the Madison zoning ordinances may allow people to hand build a shack across the street from their $400,000 house that they're trying to sell. And people coming to buy the $400,000 house may look at the shack and decide they don't wanna buy that house. And that's exactly the story one of the people were telling us that happens on Foreclairs, and that's an ongoing story. So, the second part I heard was a lady really didn't have any comments to make about the master plan, but thought that she would like to come to a meeting and hear the exchange of ideas. If you remember that lady, which really stuck in my mind is that she came to the beach just to talk about it, but wanted to participate and listen to other people talking about it, not
Right.
coming in with something that she
I
wanted to
see.
say.
right.
Which made me think that maybe we should have a session like that at some point.
Mhm.
Doesn't have to be immediate, but, and I would put it on Paula Doyle to pick the time that would happen, seeing how she brought up the idea that we should have a meeting that's more convenient to people.
Right.
She can tell us what she thinks that is,
Yeah,
and if we can do that, then maybe we should have a session where we talk about the master plan, so that's another thing I got out of that. And the third one was, a couple of people mentioned that they'd like us to protect the class 6 roads from being developed. I heard that from 2 different people.
Huh,
And I didn't want to say, it turns out the state of New Hampshire is working in the opposite direction of that, with
Yeah.
it making it easier for people to be able to apply for building permit, and they're actually taking the town out of having any say before issuing a building permit. That the legislation they want to pass would just have people record the waivers for building on a class 6 road against for the town, recognizing the town may not deliver emergency services to the class 6 road. And then they can get the building permit without the town having any say. So that's the third part I got out of that, is class 6 roads. So that's input that we have as a board as we proceed into next year with the master plan. We should do little steps as we go. But that's the thing I get out of it, is zoning, which is what the master plan is really supposed to be affecting. Class 6 roads, and an open forum meeting where it's more structured than just listening to people.
Mhm.
I've never heard anybody tell me they didn't really like just being listened to. They want to actually listen to other people.
well,
Which was-
yeah, I can see
It
that.
was really unique, yeah. I wish I had asked for contact information for her
Oh,
to make sure she knows. How you doing?
You guys are doing a meeting here.
Yes.
Like, I'm sorry, is there anyone other than, anybody available to talk to, other than you?
what do you
guys?
mean?
The upstairs is where the administrators for the town are. What do you,
Well, I've got to make an appointment with an officer.
did you knock on the door? I don't know
Police are
if
right
Tess is
there.
in there or not. The blind is open, she may be in there, just, there's a
Oh.
buzzer right there too, right in front of
She's
you.
in there.
See, there's a doorknob, next to your right, there's a buzzer.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah.
Thank you, I apologize for.
That's all right, no problem.
I feel bad about that. Hi.
I had now interrupted anyways.
Just a quick question on class 6 roads. You brought up on several occasions that our class 6 roads were deeded to us way back when during the sale.
We bought them, yes.
Right. Are there some towns that have class 6 roads that they do not have those roads deeded to them? They don't own them?
All of the
All
roads in
roads.
Madison are not deeded to the town of Madison, all of them.
Yeah, same in
Okay.
every town.
Route 113 here is not deeded to the state of New Hampshire.
Okay, so that takes me back to my point about if state of New Hampshire proceeds full bore on this, making it easier to get building permits on class 6 roads, because our class 6 roads belong to us, can we not head that off at the pass?
Our attorney surprised me by saying no, that we don't have any extra rights
We
over
we
those
need a
roads.
second opinion. Because if we own those roads, I think we have the ability to control that.
I
We
think,
would have to turn them into class 5 roads.
here's what, in thinking about it after she said that for a long time, I think her answer was based on court cases on class 6 roads.
Mhm.
And her answer is correct, and maybe even, the book that was written by the attorney, Bernie Waugh, wrote a book on roads in New Hampshire, because the law is unique in New Hampshire. And he talks a lot about class 6 roads. And Madison had a big feud about class 6 roads 20 years ago. Went to court, the whole 9 yards.
Wow.
Several times I went to court. All the court cases are based on the classic class 6 road in New Hampshire, which is not a deeded road. It may be the only deeded class 6 roads in the entire state are the Idleways ones. So it's never been tested.
Right.
Wow.
Therefore, her answer was based on all court precedents and law, which are all based on class 6 roads, for the most part being easements, where the property owners own under the road and meet in the center of the road to each other.
Right.
And then the towns and cities have rights, and the state has rights of the road on top of their property.
Well, fantastic.
Idleways owns the road
40
all the
feet.
way down to China, which is maybe so unique that the attorney can't answer a question by saying, you have to be challenged in court.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We didn't ask her that way. I did tell her that our roads are deeded.
Yeah.
Right.
And she didn't hesitate, she didn't give this as a,
That's why I think we could be the master of our own destiny on our class 6 roads.
Mm-hmm.
That's my understanding.
Okay,
And we are.
interesting.
We are planning on talking to the attorney next month, which is coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
That could be one of the things you wanna talk to her about.
Okay.
I'll take Jake out by myself since it's.
Yeah, you are, okay.
Okay, have a good day, everybody.
Alrighty, you too.
Thank you. So that's the master plan. Signature items, none. Correspondence, none. Public appearance, just left. Non-agenda items. I'll make a motion that we go into non-public session with the idea that we're gonna continue this public meeting into the meeting on Thusis Road with the DPW after the non-public session. So,
Yep.
I'll make
Second.
a motion, we go into non-public session. You second. How do you vote, Nancy? Roll
Aye.
call. How do you vote, Wood?
Aye.
I vote yes also to go into non-public session. Thank you, Carol. 11:45.